Ryan Fry.
Todd.
Oops, I'm sorry. That's okay. I figured I better introduce myself too,
Yes,
just in case. I'm
please.
Anna Wallrout.
Todd Foltz. Aaron Murphy.
Okay, and also in attendance this evening from legal, we have Susan Johnson Velez. From development, we have Stephen Eister and Lisa Middleton, and we also have a development coordinator, Marla Trikush. Did I get it close enough? And Ms.
Madam Chair, if I just may for a moment, I'd also like to introduce Taylor Bolt. He's a new attorney in our office, and over the next couple of months, we will be transitioning from me representing the Variance Review Board to Taylor. So he's attending this evening, and he'll be with you in November, and then we'll probably tag team or something in December. So I just wanted to introduce you.
Well, welcome aboard, Taylor, and you have big shoes to fill. So okay. There's some procedural rules that we need for you to follow. When your case number and petitioner's name are called, please approach the podium. When you approach the podium, please state your name and address and confirm that you have been sworn in. That's very important. Repeat it over and over again during the evening. The petitioner or its agent will have 10 minutes to make a presentation. All other personnel or participants wishing to speak will have 3 minutes. Then the petitioner will have additional 5 minutes for rebuttal if needed. The time periods as stated will be kept by the board. Any information such as pictures or plans that have not previously been submitted as part of the petition and that you intend to submit for consideration in support of your petition must be individually presented and accepted by the board. After acceptance by the board, you must submit to the item to staff so that it may be entered in the permanent record. Board bases its decisions on competent and substantial evidence which is submitted and which meets the criteria required by the city's code of ordinances. Please be sure to clearly state your hardship criteria during your presentation. A majority of the board is needed to approve your variance. The variance granted by the board will be only for what is shown on the site plan and will be in compliance with any terms or conditions stated by the board. All other city codes will need to be met. If your case is approved, your variance will expire 2 years from the date of the decision. If your case is continued, it will either be continued to next month's agenda, which, by the way, is November 18th, if I'm not mistaken, because the 11th is Veterans Day, or the next available position on an upcoming VRB agenda. If the case is denied, you may wish to have the Variance Review Board's decision appealed by City Council. You must file a petition for review of the board's decision within 14 days of the board's written decision. You will not be able to pull a permit until the 14-day review period has passed. Your cooperation in ensuring that this meeting runs smoothly is greatly appreciated. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Motion to
from
approve?
September.
Second.
Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are good. So, Susan?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'd like to ask if any board members have had any ex parte communications with anyone with respect to any matter on the agenda this evening.
No, ma'am.
Okay. If the record reflect that all board members have indicated in the negative, and then I would like to ask if any board members have any conflicts of interest with respect to any matter on the agenda this evening.
No.
No.
Please let the record reflect also that the board members have indicated in the negative. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Good evening, Board. The first case on the agenda tonight is VRB-25-76. This was continued from the September hearing to today's hearing due to a lack of a quorum.
Oh,
The owner is Johnny's Hideaway LLC. The applicant is Jessica Iserman. The property address is 1965 North West Shore Boulevard. The zoning is commercial intensive. The code sections in question today are section 27289 and section 27238. These are both sign code sections. 27289 is the general sign code, and 27238 is the West Shore overlay sign code. The previous actions have been a DE1 for the transparency requirement by the West Shore overlay, a demolition permit, and then new construction, and then a DE1 for the transparency requirement and some buffer alterations for tree species. The variance requested, these are outlined in your packets as well, are variances to section 27289.3 and 27238. These are to increase the building signage on the north and west elevations from 2 to 11 signs, and then increase the building sign square footage on the north and west elevation from 270 square feet to 273.12 square feet, which is a 3.12 square foot increase. The next section in reference is 27289 and 238. These deal with the building signs on the southern elevation, going from 0 signs allowed to 3, and then an increase in building sign square footage of that southern elevation from 0 feet to 214.65 square feet, which is a 214.65 square foot increase to what's allowed by code. The next section is 27238G788, requesting to increase the freestanding sign square footage from 50 square feet to 160 square feet, 110 square foot increase. The last section is 27289.3, and that's to increase directional signage square footage on the north elevation from 4 square feet to 25 square feet, a 21 square foot increase. An increase in directional signage height on the north elevation from 30 inches to 60 inches. To increase the directional sign square footage on the west elevation from 4 square feet to 25 square feet, 21 square foot increase. And then an increase in directional sign height on the west elevation from 30 inches to 36 inches, a 6-inch height increase.
No, that's just, that should be right here.
This is the site as it exists now. This is on West Shore Boulevard and Boy Scout Boulevard.
Should be right here.
This is the proposed site, which is a Charlie's Steakhouse. Each sign has been numbered, and we'll run through those numbers through this presentation. This is the first sign, which is
No, it's not.
WE on the west elevation and CL-1,
It is. Okay.
as well as the fine wines and aged steaks. So this is CL1, this is FL1 and FL2. This is the south elevation where the drop-off area is, where the canopy is. So this is CL2. This will be FL4, which is on the canopy, and then FL-3, which is below that. This is on the north elevation, which has the Charlie's Steakhouse logo here, CL-3. Then the Market Fresh Fish, which is FL-5. The aged steaks, which is FL-6. And then the crab with the martini glass and the fire symbol, FL7 and FL8, along this portion of the north elevation across the top. These are the examples of the freestanding signs. This is directional sign 1, which shows the increase from 30 inches to the 5 foot, and then the increased square footage. This is the other directional illuminated sign. That's going from 30 inches to 36 inches. And then this is the freestanding sign that is the old Charlie's Steakhouse sign that's being relocated. Natural resources found it consistent. Transportation found it consistent with conditions, and that site triangles must comply with the City of Tampa Code Section 27-283.5. Note that West Boy Scout Road is an FDOT roadway and requires a 20 by 20 clear site triangle. And then it had an example below, and it says ensure no proposed signage obstructs the required visibility. Wastewater found it consistent. Water had no objections. Right-of-way found it consistent. And then stormwater found it consistent with conditions. For the site and building permit, the development exceeds the 50% impervious area. The development is required to comply with the city stormwater requirements. A stormwater pond/vault is required. No runoff shall be directed to the adjacent properties. Add a construction note to the site plan. Development shall comply with the City of Tampa Technical Standards, Chapter 21 of the City of Tampa Code. TICO had no comment. And then Urban Design provided a memo that should be attached in your packet. This is the instruction for the 2780, the applicant of varying power, and the 5 hardship criteria that need to be used to assess the application tonight. And then I will be available for any comments, questions, or concerns. And then the applicant provided a PowerPoint as well.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Eisterman. I'm an attorney with Stearns Weaver Miller representing the applicant today. Also with me is a representative of the applicant, Clark Woodsby, and Clint Wallace. We are here today requesting this variance. We do have a presentation, if you could pull it up. Thank you very much. All right, next slide, please. Oh, where's the?
Oh, and I'm sorry, I know that no one has come in or out since the swearing in was done.
I'm
But
sorry.
Could you please confirm you were sworn in?
Yes, we have been sworn.
Yes, we have
Thank
an
you.
address.
She said Stearns Weaver Miller.
All right,
Address.
so what you heard today, what you heard today, it sounds like a lot. So we do have 8 sign variances, not 9 as previously requested, and I'll explain. We are deleting sign number 8 on your packet. We do not need that sign variance anymore. So what we are proposing today is 14 total building signs, and again, that sounds like a lot, and I'm going to walk you through it. On the north and west side, we are permitted to have 270 square feet, and we are proposing to increase that only by about 3 square feet, so to 273 square feet. On the south side, because that part of the building does not front on the on a street, we technically are not permitted any signage, so that's where we are requesting an increase from 0 square feet to 214 square feet. So for a total of 217 square foot increase around the whole building. We are also including 2 directional signs, one of which we are proposing a variance for increasing from 4 square feet to 25 square feet. And this is in lieu of a larger directional sign that would technically be permitted because there are 2 parcels on this property. And 1 freestanding sign to go from 50 square feet to 80 square feet. And that is a change. I'll point you to number 5 on this slide. An increase in the freestanding sign square footage from 50 square feet. We are actually requesting 84 square feet, which is only a 34-foot increase. I have revised site plans. I'll be happy to introduce them into the record to show there was just an error on our site plans so we wanted to make these corrections. All right, so let me orient you to where this property is. We're at the southeast corner of Boy Scout and West Shore Boulevard. We are right basically at the entrance into International Mall and less than 2 miles from the entrance of Tampa International Airport. We do get a lot of tourists that come through this intersection. It's a very high volume intersection. Now, looking close up at the property, you can see the property is fully paved. It is, if you're familiar with this corner, sort of a blight. The existing property condition is a blight on that property. The current Charlie Steakhouse is on Cypress, and it is proposed to be relocated to this location because FDOT is widening that area, and their lease with FDOT is up at the end of 2027. So they need a new location, and this is where the new Charlie Steakhouse is proposed to go. So as it exists today, the property, and this is an older photograph, but I just want you to see, it is blighted with extra signage. You can see there are 2 billboards as well as 2 pole signs that are on the property, as well as a dilapidated structure that you saw a demolition permit has already been pulled for that. So those billboards, one of which has been removed already at great cost and expense to the current property owner. The property owner has worked for years with the billboard company to have that removed because the lease still had another 18 years on it. So they had to negotiate, and I was personally involved in those negotiations. I can tell you that they were very long and arduous to get that billboard removed so that the property could be down to only one billboard and we could place a beautiful new structure on the property. There's also 2 grandfathered pole signs that amount to 310 square feet. As part of this development, those would be removed. Oops, I don't know if it went. Did I go too far? All right, so here's the site plan with just an overlay of where the restaurant is in this kind of busy site plan. What I want to point out to you is, the building is the blue building. The lighter blue is a porte-cochere. This is a valet parking type of restaurant. This is where people will pull up into the porte-cochere to get valet. But the parking is interesting with this parcel. It's a U-shaped parcel. So there is a middle parcel that the property owner was not willing to sell it. So unfortunately, we're stuck with this very odd-shaped parcel so that it loops around. And that's part of the reason why we need some variances, because the parking is partly separated from the building, at least part of the parking. So this is the west elevation. This is the elevation that faces West Shore Boulevard. So this elevation, you can see the building itself is 45 feet tall. It has one major tower in the middle, and then it's got all sorts of architectural features and articulations. So understanding the size and scale of the building, I think, is really helpful to understand why much signage is needed. So this is Charlie's Steakhouse. As you can see, it is intended to be a backlit, halo illuminated sign. So I wanted to show you the same restaurateur owns a place called Fishbones in Lake Mary, and this is an actual picture of that restaurant and how they have the halo lit signs. So again, this is for this slide is representing the the west elevation, and we are requesting an increase in the building signage on the north and west elevation with respect to number of signs and square footage of signs. This is the north elevation. This is the elevation that faces Boy Scout. What you'll notice on this one is there's a lot of these smaller signs. You can see the age stakes, the crab, the fire. So what we've done basically is taken our permitted sign allotment of around 270 square feet and basically broke it up into a bunch of smaller signs. And we look at this crab and look at the fire emblem more as an art and not necessarily a sign, but the city of Tampa calls it a sign, so we have to go through this process. So again, the north and the west total is only 273 square feet, and that's 3 feet over what would otherwise be permitted. This is the south facade of the building. It does not have a street frontage, but it does have a very large parking area in the porte-cochere on it. So the Charlie sign, so there's one Charlie sign that's on the building, one on the porte-cochere, and then one at a pedestrian eye level. The one at pedestrian eye level is a piece of art that is made out of like a copper metal material. It is handcrafted by an artist, and it exists at the current Charlie's, if you're familiar with the current Charlie's, and it has a fire underneath it. So that is proposed to be at the pedestrian level. Then you have the porte-cochere, then you have the building sign. Again, because this property is not on a street frontage, or I'm sorry, this facade is not on a street frontage, technically no signage is allowed. But if you drive down Boy Scout and you stop at Fleming's or you stop at Outback, they're all in the same position where their main entrance to the building, essentially, or their parking area, does not face a street frontage. So, but they do have signage in that area. So this is consistent with the other restaurants along Boy Scout. So we're proposing one freestanding sign for this property. It is actually, we're proposing to relocate the existing Charlie sign to the new property. So we have to obtain a variance for that because it exceeds, it's not 160 square feet. We're actually requesting 84, I believe, square feet. So it's a 34 square foot increase for that. And if you're familiar, that sign is pretty unique, pretty cool, and the owner is very attached personally to that. So we're really hoping to keep that kind of heritage at the new property. So this is our directional signs. So we're proposing 2 directional signs, one at each property entrance. The larger sign, we are requesting variances to increase it from 30 inches to 60 inches. This is the sign that's gonna be along the Boy Scout entrance, which has the disconnected parking area. So that's why this is important for that sign to be bigger, because it's not, you may think you've passed Charlie's, but you haven't, because the parking is one parcel away. So that's what the larger sign is. The other smaller sign, we're just requesting an increase from 30 inches to 36 inches at the West Shore entrance, and that's because we have required landscaping, and so there's gonna be a lot of landscaping, ground landscaping there, and so we'd like to have that raised up a little bit so people can see it. So I'm gonna rush through this real quick. So practical difficulties, again, we talked about the extreme length of the property. And so for this, especially with the southern area and needing to see some signage along the southern areas of the building. This is not self-imposed. This property used to be I'm sorry, may I have one more minute?
Just finish your.
All right, thank you. So this property used to be, it was a car wash, it was a car rental place, it was parking for the airport, basically, it was all these things. And the property owner just filled it up with signs trying to, I presume, get income. And so we've been trying to beautify the parcel, and we're working really hard on that. And we also have the disconnected parking, unfortunately, that we are having to deal with.
Okay.
So, all right.
Does that conclude your presentation?
I have a few more slides, but I will be,
You guys wanna keep them going, or?
I think it's a big file to approve. I have no problem with listening to them.
Do we have to vote on this?
You do have to vote on the application, and I would just remind you that you do have to, applicant has to establish a hardship, because the board is only authorized to grant a variance if you expressly find that there's a hardship. So I would also suggest that, even though it might be tedious, you take the signs individually, since you may find there's a hardship for example, Charlie sign, but the signs that are not directional, or they're, illustrative of something that you may
Redundant.
not find that there's a hardship, so.
Okay, all right. Please wrap it up.
I will, thank you. This will not interfere substantially with our neighbors. We don't have any residential properties near us in any way, shape, or form. This is in harmony with your code provisions, your land development code, and your comp plan regarding redevelopment, especially of signage. And again, this will result in substantial justice being done. They will, signs will not block traffic. That many of our signs are, I would consider art, not signs. And also, I take Ms. Johnson-Velez's comments, and the way I look at this, just to help you in your deliberations and considerations, is freestanding signs versus directional signs versus building signs, if that helps in your discussion. We are available for questions. Please engage us if needed.
Okay, so
Thank you very much for the extra time.
I'm gonna assume this concludes your presentation,
Yes, ma'am.
and we can hear, I'm sorry? Questions from the board.
Can you tell me approximately how many square foot of signage you're taking down? I know it's on a,
The billboard alone was 1,334 square feet, and then the two other signs were 310, the two pole signs were 310 square feet
310 total?
total. Thank you.
Anything else?
I have a question. The south elevation, which does not face, which is, you're asking for a variance to install signs because there is no, it's not permitted.
Correct.
Right? I just, in looking at what you're presenting, it's just very repetitive to me, which doesn't make a lot of sense from my perspective of, there's a sign on the portico-share, there's a sign on the building, and there's a sign at, it's like if you didn't know Charlie's was here, it's here, and it's here again. And that to me is excessive on a side of a building that does not face
A street.
anything, right, except for somebody pulling into a parking lot.
It was kind of meant and designed, at least from our thinking, is, I'm sorry, Edward Woodsby Johnny's Hideaway, 1260 Central Florida Parkway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very welcome. So to imagine yourself pulling in as a guest for the evening and knowing which way to go, knowing the way to go into the porte-cochere and see the fire sign straight ahead on the wall. You know, that sense of arrival is kind of important. Sure, you've braved traffic and you hopefully didn't overshoot your entrance, but once you're on property, it's important to know where the attraction is and the flow once you're on the property because of the unique design and layout of the parcels themselves. You know, we refer to that little strip that's not ours as a spike strip of sorts, and that, you know, it throws you off and your bearings and your GPS might not be what it needs to be. And honestly, the repetitive, I understand from this view, but once you're at, you know, at grade and on site, you don't see it all necessarily at the same time. As you're pulling in, you're looking straight, the porte-cochere blocks the one on the tower. You see the one on the porte-cochere itself, but that's part of the vibe, you know, as part of a kind of a retro kind of feel, the shape of the porte-cochere and the neon and all the other stuff. So it's just layers of that, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
Yeah, and honestly, in our discussions, the Charlie sign that you see on the tower facing south, above, or not on the tower, I'm sorry, on the parapet wall by the porte-cochere, that one we saw as possibly being a little bit repetitive in nature, because we do have the one on the tower that faces down the road to the south.
So CL2 on the
CL2.
site
Yep,
plan,
yep.
that is something that if, we would not object if you'd like to remove that sign in favor of the other two.
Okay. Any other questions from the
I'm sorry,
board?
Madam Chair,
sorry,
just for
yes.
clarification, how many square
Yes,
feet
ma'am.
is that? In case the
For
board-
CL2, $90.65 square feet.
So then if my math is correct, and that's not my strong suit, but it would reduce your southern elevation square footage down to 123?
Sounds about right. Yeah. From 214 down minus 90.
214 minus 90, so 225.
225.
Or 125.
Oh, sorry, 125.
Yep.
Which one is the one that you,
This one, this is the southern facing.
okay,
So
Yeah,
there's no square footage permitted at all.
correct.
Just a little backstory, if you might.
I think we're good,
Oh,
if you
good,
don't
okay.
mind.
Yeah, no
We're-
problem.
You're the first of 10. We're gonna be
Yes.
here all night.
Yeah.
So forgive me for my bluntness, but
Sure.
if no further questions from the board, is there anyone here in the audience to speak for or against? Okay, seeing none, you do get some more time for rebuttal here. If you wanted to add something, this would be the time to do it.
No, thank you. We'll wait.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll close the public hearing. And what's at your pleasure? So this is the sign that we're talking about, correct? It's
Yeah,
That's,
redundant.
so
the other one is the one with the fire, which is currently
I
up there,
understand
which
that.
is at the entrance to the
Yeah, this
current.
is the one that seems
Yeah,
overkill.
right, because it's right, and I understand what he was saying about the difference in location of where that one is, and I mean, they're not on top of each other. There's perspective to that, and I understand that. It's just seems a bit repetitive to me on a side, and I understand directional signage, I get all of that, but it just seems hugely repetitive, especially on a side where we may be granting a variance to allow them to have signage, because there is no allowance right now.
So that would decrease the 214
To 125.
to 125. Just need to make sure you know that when we're,
I mean, it's my opinion.
I don't disagree with you.
yeah,
Neither do I.
I agree with that as well. That's really the only one piece of all this that I kind of had a
I like it all. I think it looks great. I think the building is gonna, I mean, it's a horrible corner,
Yeah, it's always been a horrible
and it's gonna
corner.
look fantastic. I just,
Right.
you know, they're asking for a lot. And that's the only thing I have a problem
You
with.
ready to make it in the form of a motion?
Oh, boy. This is with conditions, so, okay. Yeah, let me give it a whirl.
So, I'm gonna suggest that you go through each of the requested variances, and so for that purpose.
Motion for each one of them?
I-
Okay.
And for that purpose, I know that there were a couple of reductions, so
Yeah.
if you could have Ms. Iserman just so I can put it in my notes as well. I think number 5 was reduced
84,
84.
to 84,
okay.
and then
Number
Number 8 is going.
8 is gone.
And number 8 is gone.
8 is gone.
And then with
And-
this reduction, it would be number 3 would be southern elevation from 0 to 2.
Ah,
Say that again? Oh, it would go to two signs instead of 3.
And number 4 would go from 0 to 124 square feet.
Where's that one?
right here.
Okay, 0 to 124 square feet. Susan, do I need to note the particular sign that we're speaking of?
Stephen, what would you?
It's on the parapet, right?
Yes, it's CL2 in the site plan.
Okay, then I'll just say is CL2 sufficient? Okay. Okay, here, let me give this a whirl. Okay, I move the variance request for VRB 25-76 located at 1965 North West Shore Boulevard as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for, oh boy, this is where you want me to put the variances in, correct? Okay.
You can maybe say the following variances.
The
right?
following variances. Variances to LDC sections 27 through 289.3, A6A1I, and 27-238G7A8 to increase building signage on the north and west elevations from 2 to 11 signs, and increase building sign square footage on north and west elevations from 270 square feet to 273.12 square feet, which is a 3.12 square foot increase. Upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record and at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that this will be a brand new building on a blighted space, that there are 2 very large billboards taking up over 1,000 square feet, and yeah, that's it.
Second.
Any further discussion? No, I'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Okay. so
Okay, here we go. I move that the variance request for case VRB 25-76 located at 1965 North West Shore Boulevard as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for variances LDC sections 27 to 289A6A1I and 27-238G7A8 to increase the building sign number on the southern elevation from 0 to 2, and to increase building sign square footage on the southern elevation from 0 to 124 square feet, with the removal of sign C2. CL2, my mistake, CL2.
Motion, is there a second?
Well, I need to keep going, though.
Oh.
That said, the variance's condition be granted based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in 27-80 of the city code, specifically that There is no signage on that side of the building. We're going to allow signage on that side of the building. However, one of the signs is deemed repetitive, and the condition that that CL2 be removed.
Any further discussion? If not, call a question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise? Okay.
Okay.
5-0 passes.
Move that the variance request for VRB 25-76 for the property located at 1965 North West Shore Boulevard be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a variance of LDC section 27-238 G7A.8, requesting to increase the freestanding square footage from 50 square foot to 160 square foot.
Wait, 84.
Sorry, to 84 square feet. Depicted on the site plan that presented at the public hearing upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record and at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that this is a new building that will be occupying this space, a blighted space. Then there are currently many signs on the property that exceed 1,000 square feet.
Any further discussion? Now I'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Okay, passes 5-0.
Move that the variance request for VRB 25-76 for the property located at 1965 North West Shore Boulevard be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for variance to LDC sections 27-28.3A4 to increase directional signage, sign square footage on the north elevation from 4 square feet to 25 square feet. It's a 21 square foot increase. An increase in directional sign height on north elevation from 30 inches to 60 inches, a 30-inch increase. And an increase in directional sign height on west elevation from 30 inches to 36 inches. Do I have to say that that one's removed? That the other one's removed?
No.
The request? Okay.
No.
Based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record and at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in sections 27-80 of the city code, specifically that this is a new building that's going to be replacing blight, and that there are signs currently on the property that are well over 1,000 square feet.
Okay. Any further discussion? We'll call the question. All in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise?
And just for clarification, Madam Chair, and to help Stephen too when he does the letter, so I have the revised site plan that the applicant has presented, which I will give to the clerks for
Okay.
inclusion with the approval letter. It does still show CL2, so I just wanted to make sure it was on the record that the board is not approving CL2, sign number CL2.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that will be included in the record as well. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I think you're all
I think
set.
that's it. Thank
Great
you.
job. We're just gonna do
I'm not
another.
doing another one today.
Oh, come on. The
I
next
just did
one's
4.
Yeah,
I
that's,
have been there all day.
okay, this one is,
Okay.
okay, Steve.
The next item on the agenda is VRB 25-40. The owner is Camila Gorgo. The applicant is Carlos Castilla. The property address is 4810 North Gomez Avenue. The zoning is residential single family RS50. The request is to reduce the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 0 feet for a solid roof patio. The code section in reference is 27-156, table 4-2, schedule of area height bulk placement regulations of a RS50 district. 20 feet from the front, 20 feet in the rear, and 7 feet on the sides. There have been previous actions on site. CMP-22-0004142 was work without permits. BLD-22-04964112, a permit for the patio that was not completed. VRB-23-000071 was withdrawn. And then a BLD extension-23-0001450 for that same patio. This is a map of the site. The property applying tonight is this one outlined in red. And you can see the covered patio in the rear yard. This is a close-up of that site showing the one-story residence and then the covered patio in the back that goes to the property line. This is a zoom in of that site plan showing the carport and how it runs against the property line. Natural Resources had no objections with conditions. This request is for the reduction of the rear setback only. Zoning Natural Resources has found the submitted request to be consistent with conditions. During the construction phase, further changes and requests regarding natural resources may be made to ensure compliance with all other relevant code sections. This comment was made to address the green space percentage, which was at 23.76%, I believe. It would need to meet the 25% at the time of building permits. Transportation had no objections. Wastewater had no objections. Water, right-of-way, stormwater, and TECO had no objections. This is the criteria for the Variance Review Board outlined in 27-80 for the hardship criteria. And I will be available for any questions, comments, or concerns.
Thank you, sir. Is the petitioner here?
Hello, my name is Carlos Castilla. I'm on 3418 Handy Road, Suite 204, and I'm representing Miss Camila Gorcal.
Can you please state that you were sworn in?
Excuse me?
Can you please state if you were sworn in?
Oh yes, when I get in, I swear.
Thank you.
I just put the site plan. That part is the roof. It was built when she bought the house, and who knows how long that was built, more than 10 years ago. The problem was she just wanted to close the garage, make a room in the garage. Then is when she got the problem for the roof. We already started this variance a long time ago, probably years. But the site plan, we got a problem for the grass and for the water. That I'll show you better this one. Because we are going to do that to get the water out of the lot right there and right there. So the water doesn't go anywhere. But right now it's concrete, a block fence, so the water doesn't go anywhere. So we have to make sure it go to the street. And she used the space for entertaining the people who's living in the house. She got a adult daycare, I don't know how you call it. So she got they have like a 4 or 5 older people, they play on the garage, on the carport. Well, I don't know why the surveyor put carport. It's no carport, but that's what I say, carport. And I think, see if you got any question, I don't know exactly what else I can tell you.
Does that conclude your presentation?
I guess yes.
Do you have any photographs or?
Yes. This is the house. As you can see, that's concrete, and in the other side is concrete. That's the green part only. That's the garage that she started to close the garage to do rooms. That's when she had the problem for the roof on the back. Well, you already have you already present this one. I think I don't have pictures of the back of the roof. I just got that one only.
So can I just ask
sorry,
one
yes,
question?
please.
Sir, can you put the picture of the house back.
Oh, sorry.
So you're going to, on the site plan, it shows that you're gonna replace that concrete with grass on the sides of the house.
This is the grass existing, and the circular driveway is this. This part and this part, the concrete, probably we have to take the concrete out and put grass so we can, one moment, so we can have the 25% of the grass.
Okay, so, and this site plan is what's gonna control what you can do with the property?
Yes.
If this variance is granted?
Yes,
And just for clarification for the board, the area where the X is over the carport is the area that's the subject of this variance, that you're seeking to reduce the area that's in the X, that says carport.
oh, yeah, that is,
Okay.
I don't know what they say carport, that's a roof, and it's like I don't know how to call it, because
Okay, no, I just wanted-
all people goes there to play cards, to play whatever they do.
No, I understand. I just want to make sure the board is clear on what
Okay.
this applies to, and only that area.
Okay. So what exists where that X is now? Is it paved? Is there a roof on it?
It's
Is
the
there-
roof, and they put a tile, so it's covered on the tile. When they did it, nobody knows. She has to legalize whatever she got when she bought the building. Well, no, when she started to do the clothes for the garage.
Okay, so I'm looking at this drawing in front of me, and the X's are going property line to property line on the north and the south side. And I see a little bit of grass
Yes.
at either end. So is that grass now, or is that something?
No, it's concrete now. That's the one that we are going to cut.
All the way
To-
back to the back property line?
Yeah, to get the 25%, a little more than that.
Okay.
We
and
have to remove the grass, the concrete.
Okay, and where does the roof on that carport extend to? Does it go to the property line over that
No.
grass area?
No, from the house to the house. You see,
Okay, 'cause that's
this
not-
is the house, from their part to that one.
Okay, because the X goes
From
all
house
the
to
way
house.
out to where the
The
grass
X,
is.
I don't know why they put X and put carport. That's the surveyor who did that too.
Yeah,
Is the covered patio in the rear enclosed? Is it air conditioned?
No,
Not air
it's
conditioned?
open.
Okay.
is it going to be?
This
enclosed?
part, I'm going to write down so you can see it better.
Okay,
This part is this is the building, the roof. This is going to be grass. This is going to be grass. Now it's concrete. That's open and that's open. Just put the roof from the house to close to the wall, to the wall fence, to the fence. It's a concrete block.
Would you be okay with a condition stating that it would never be enclosed?
Excuse me?
That it could never be enclosed or air
Oh,
conditioned?
no, she's not one enclosed because
So that she's fine with that?
it's fine with that, and she got it for, I don't know how long she already had the house.
I see on the survey, it looks like the closest portion of the covered rear patio is 2 feet from the property line. And you're currently asking for a variance from 20 feet to 0 feet, when really it looks like you could do 20 feet to 2 feet for your actual variance.
It's because when we got the roof, we have to put make the gutter bigger, so the water goes out. That's why we have to do that part so the water goes to the street.
Right, but I'm saying the requested variance is for the rear setback to go from 20 feet to 0 feet.
Yes, the bottom
But
part,
it
yes.
appears on the survey that you could go from 20 feet to 2 feet. Because the actual property line where you have the set iron rods are 2 feet. From the covered patio.
2 feet, but no. See, we're going, the roof is that, the property line, and that space so we can set up a nice gutter to run the water. That's why we're asking more, all the way to the wall.
He's asking, how big is that space?
It's 2 feet.
It's 2 feet on
2
the
feet.
drawing.
Right now, it's open. They got something to run the water, which is not good enough to run all the water out of the street, to the street.
And is that 2 feet paved? Is it grass? Is it something else? The 2-foot strip that runs along the backyard?
No, it's the tile, the concrete.
So it
and
goes
the-
all
and-
the way to the property line?
Yes, and then the fence, well, all around, the fence is concrete block.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there, how do you get onto the carport?
It's not a carport.
No,
Yeah,
it's
well-
not a
It was labeled
carport. The
improper.
surveyor, I don't know why they put a carport on the survey, and I
It's a-
forget
it's a
to delete
lanai.
it from the
Okay, so
survey.
is there, how many entrances to the lanai? Is it, you have to walk through the house to get on the outside of it, or is it an exit? Like, is it, how do you enter and exit?
Oh, yeah, they have a door, a sliding door from the living. It's not showing that part of
So you have
on
to
the
walk
drawing.
through the house to go to the outside? Walk through the house to,
Oh, to that part, yeah, she closed, she put a fence on, she got like a plastic fence, or I'm not sure what, right there, so nobody can get in, nobody can get out. Because it's an old people, so if some of that people get out, she got a problem.
Mr. Eister, I guess I'll direct this question towards you. I think if the variance can be reduced from 0 feet to 2 feet, that could be more palatable, some people on board.
So,
To have tile there, do they not need that additional 2 feet?
so if you're looking at the board, or the site plan here, and we're looking at this 2 feet of separation called out by the survey, I'm
Yep.
thinking is the area in question, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
The 2 feet
So-
between the concrete wall
But-
and the property line.
One thing, the 2 feet is 8 feet concrete block.
8 inches?
Then it's only 16 inches to set up the gutter for the,
Right here, this dark line that runs is that CMU wall.
Oh, that's a wall.
This is a concrete wall
Oh, okay.
that runs here. It doesn't run at the property line.
So,
So,
So
then
it
from,
could be modified to a 2-foot.
correct. And then the gutter, they would still get the encroachment for eaves and gutters.
Right.
That would still be allowed by code. So if they needed to do a 2-foot setback,
Sorry?
and then the gutters,
They
those
could.
can encroach over.
Very good.
yes, that's what I'm trying to,
What is
Set
the
up.
width of the covered patio? Is it 10 feet wide? Is it 15 feet wide?
this is like 16,
16 feet wide. So by code, they needed 20. This older home was built.
the house was built with a different code in that time.
Existing. I'm just trying to do the math. It looks to me like this older home was already existing inside the setback if you had the
Yes.
full 20 feet.
No, probably the setback in that time was 15 feet, I think.
25?
It should have been 25?
No, it says 20 to
20
0.
to 0.
I'm saying the rear yard, because this is the rear yard, they have the rear patio. There's 2 feet to the patio is 15 or 16 feet, that's 17 or 18 feet. That means 2 feet of the home is actually also existing in this 20-foot setback.
Yeah, we don't have a dimension on that at all on the drawings.
You know, so it is an older home, I mean, judging by the front of it. Would you estimate when the home was built?
Excuse me?
Could you estimate when the home was built?
Oh, I got the property appraisal in my briefcase, but that was like 16 or 17 years ago, or more probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like a 60s, 70s house to me. All right. That's all the questions I've got.
All right, close. Is anyone here to speak for or against? Seeing none, you have rebuttal time if you would like. Mr. Castilla,
Excuse me?
would you like to add anything else? You have rebuttal time.
No, well, I guess that's all I can say.
Okay, close the public hearing and hear from the board.
I don't have a problem with it if it's 2 foot, if we modify it to 2 feet. It's existing before she bought the house.
Yeah.
She didn't have, she had some hardship, and it's causing her not to be able to pull a legitimate permit at the front. I'm okay with it. I have no problem.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wish I knew what was behind that wall, the
Yeah,
other
I know.
neighbor, or I would love to have seen pictures
Me
of
too,
that.
yeah, I agree.
I
wish
would
we
love
had-
to, you
yeah.
know, this is an aside totally, but if you're coming here to present something and you're watching, please bring us photos of what's there so that we can see it and make a much better, you know,
Judgment.
much more educated guess as to what you're trying to achieve. Okay, so, no further discussion? Ready for a motion?
All right, I'll go ahead.
Sure, because I do want to make sure we have the condition in there that it never is imposed or.
Yep.
Can I
Right.
say something?
We're done, we're done. We're
No,
just
just
ready
the
for the.
year of, the house was built in 74.
74,
Okay,
all right, makes
great.
sense.
Thank you.
All right. I would like to move that the request for case VRB 25-40 located at 4810 North Gomez Avenue as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a reduction in rear site back from 20 feet to 2 feet with the following, with an encroachment for eaves and gutters, with the following conditions: that the rear covered patio never be enclosed or air conditioned, that said variance as conditioned be granted based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record and at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in 27-80 of the city code, specifically that this is a older home, was obviously built before the current code, and the home itself is already sitting in the setback, and this is vesting a also very old covered patio. It does not seem to have any health safety issues and is within the comprehensive plan and the look of the area.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, I will call the question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Okay, the motion passes 5-0.
The next item on the agenda is VRB 25-53. The owner is Gustavo Lezcarino and Dorita Lezcarino. The applicant is Carla Lanos. The property address is 8202 North Brook Street. The zoning is residential single-family RS50. The request is to reduce the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 10 feet for an attached solid roof screen enclosure. This is section 27-156, table 4-2, schedule of area, height, bulk, and placement regulations for RS50 districts. Setbacks are 20 feet in the front, 20 feet in the rear, and 7 feet on the sides. The previous actions are BLD-24-05044901, which is construction of the screen room, as well as CMP-23-00157994, which is construction without permits. The area is highlighted in red, showing the screen patio, or the solid roof right here. This property, when it first came in through the CMP, did have a couple issues that the owners have been working on. The vinyl fence extended beyond the property. That has now been corrected. There was a shed and some other things back here too that were removed. There is this is the area that we're looking at right now is cover A. This is the area of the variance request. Cover B, if this is maintained, a 7-foot setback would have to be observed on that corner setback for RS50. So this cover B is not part of the variance request. The property has also been updated to show that this area will be grass and sodded, not, I think the site plan calls that artificial turf. Artificial turf cannot be used as a substitute for green space. So I just wanted to add those few comments to the record. This is a close-up of the site in question. This is the 10-foot measurement that is being asked for today. This goes from the edge of cover A to the rear property line. This concrete area has also been removed, and then this is the fence line that is being adjusted to go follow the property line. These are photos of the site. So you can see here, this is the edge of the screened-in area with like a blind that kind of goes down. And then this is the rear yard. The property line is approximately the backside of these pavers here. These are about 4 foot wide, just to kind of give you a spatial reference of how much space is there. And then this will have to be restored back to green space as well. Natural Resources has objections. The property does not currently meet the green space requirement. The proposed plan replaces existing concrete with artificial turf, which is not considered green space. Per the City of Tampa Code, a minimum of 25% of the property must be maintained as green space. Transportation, no objections with condition. Transportation has no objections to the requested variance. For information purposes, during construction permitting, there should be no installation in the city right-of-way, only the driveway apron and sidewalk may be kept in the right-of-way. Everything else should be removed and reverted to its original condition with sod. Wastewater, no objections. Water, no objections. Right-of-way and stormwater also had no objections. This is the criteria for the variance review board under 2780, and I'll be available for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Thank you.
Good evening. Carly Llanos, 1645 Sun City Center Plaza, Unit 5066, Sun City Center, 33573. With me, I have the owner of the property, Doraida Lescano. Dirección?
3202 Brooks Street, Tampa, Florida, 33604.
And have you been sworn in?
Yes, we have been sworn in.
Both of you have?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So before you, we're requesting a variance from the rear property. So let me show you the cover. I'll put the site plan back up. So I should flip it this way. There you go. So the variance request is from this structure. It's called Cover A, as city staff had mentioned. We're requesting to go from basically 20 feet to 10 feet. So originally when the property owner purchased, obviously the home, they purchased it back in 2019. Prior to that, the house was built in 2016, and as a result, the fence line was actually encroaching into the vacated alleyway, which gave an additional, I think it was like 7 feet. She automatically assumed, the property owners automatically assumed that that was a property line, so they went ahead and covered up the rear cover A, and they put in a screen enclosure and all that. One of the main reasons is Ms. Doraida. She has her elderly mom who's disabled. Ms. Loscano is also disabled. So they enclose the area back there so they have all their exercise equipment where they do physical therapy. They also went ahead and had, I'll show you the previous site plan for the as-is conditions. So as you see here, the whole area was basically concrete. So they did that to be able to have access with their walker and whatnot. But when they went to apply for the building permits, that's when they realized that you cannot have, all this concrete. You need 25% of green space. In addition, they found out that the fence line was encroaching into the alleyway, and they also found a couple of structures that were obviously encroaching. Also, in addition to that, she found out that she was encroaching with the lanai that she enclosed. So as a result, we've been working with city staff since March, trying to, get a full understanding of what is needed. So one of the results was this covered, it's to the entrance of her mother's unit. So she lives in a mother-in-law suite. So this is the entrance, so they covered it. As a result, they told her that this is encroaching into the setback. So one of the conditions is she's moving this structure or the little awning over to the other side of the property, and it should meet the 7-foot setback. In addition, she is basically ripping out all the concrete and maintaining 25% green space. Additionally, that fence line has been moved, and the storage unit has been taken away. The only one that is in existence right now is a so-called storage, but it's not really a storage. As you can see from the pictures that city staff provided, it's actually a bird cage. They have pigeons. So that's kind of basically the justification for it. You know, it was something that wasn't seen at the time that she purchased the home, so. Do you have anything you wanna add? De pronto, ¿quieres argumentar algo? No, that's it. Does staff have any questions, council?
Did you have something?
I did have something, Madam Chair, thank you. So could you put the proposed site plan back up? Again, just for clarification for the board, so the awning that was added to the south appears to be encroaching into the side yard setback, and Stephen can correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like it's at 6 feet 2 inches and not maintaining the 7 feet. But the request, that is not included in this request, so.
I see that, so,
And then the other point of clarification is on the areas where it says area to be removed and artificial turf, is that you're intending to put grass?
That is
Actual
correct.
grass, not artificial?
That is correct,
So
so,
in all the dotted areas, you're gonna put grass?
that is correct.
Okay. So then-
That could be part of the conditions, if you guys feel more comfortable with that, that's perfectly fine. This awning, since we're moving it, she hasn't done it yet, because she needs, the building permit to be issued to be able to move it. But, during the review of the building permit, it is noted that they have to maintain that 7 foot, so she'll end up cutting back this cover, it's an awning, so she can cut it back, and then it will maintain the 7 feet that is required by city code.
So my only concern is that it's showing on the site plan.
Well, which will not, it won't require a variance.
Correct.
We can
We're-
condition
we're-
it.
Showing on the site plan is 6 feet 2 inches, so I don't know how
Condition it.
Stephen wants to address that, but
Good evening, Board. Stephen Eister. If you would like to condition the variance to only apply to cover A, since they are labeled, and you can exclude cover B, I think that would be the easiest way to address that. And then I can also add that as a condition into the letter, that this variance is only applies to cover A. So then
So-
that removes that question.
so I also have a question about the site plans. One of the site plans has artificial grass, and then there's another one where it's crossed out by hand and just says, is that acceptable?
So that was done to kind of remove any of the questions when it did come up, because they did agree to do the 25% green space. It actually shows right now artificial grass taking up 33%. So if you would like to make that a condition as well, we can make that as a condition as well. But this variance request is only for the rear property line. So it is
So
up
the
to the
fact that it
board's.
doesn't meet the 25%, unless they change that to real grass, is none of our business, so to speak.
So at the time of permitting, when they come in to permit cover A, they will have to meet the 25% green space.
Okay.
Because they did not request a variance to reduce the green space percentage from 25% to
Okay.
0.
Can you put the pictures back up, that those, of the court, for the structure? Can the applicant verify, what are the walls of the 3 sides made of?
Okay, so this is what you see if you're walking out of the main house and you're in the lanai. This is what you're looking at. You're looking at the rear, basically, the rear property line. So this is this picture right here. And this is the fence line that is facing the rear. This is a side view from, because this house is a corner, so it is right off of Bird Street. So this is the view right off of Bird Street. So as city staff had mentioned, yes, that's correct. Technically the property line will end right here at the edge of the pavement. All this has to get ripped out, and then it'll be replanted with sod.
So I'm talking about the walls of the structure.
Oh, it's screen. It's pure aluminum screening.
On the side facing Bird Street as well? Which you
The
can't see?
side, ¿qué es lo que tienes en la parte del lado sobre la calle aquí? Esto. ¿Qué es esto? Acá atrás. ¿De qué es la estructura? ¿Eso es drywall o algo así?
Drywall.
Okay.
Para
She
que
said,
no se moje la máquina de hacer ejercicio.
okay. So she says on the side of Bird Street, this is technically drywall right here. ¿Tiene estuco por fuera?
No.
No tiene estuco? It's unfinished, so I think she probably needs siding on it. But she basically says she enclosed it so her machines doesn't get wet, her exercise machines.
Okay.
So it's concrete or some other solid material on two sides, and then just screened across that.
The back.
ledge.
It's completely open, there's no AC in it,
Mm-hmm,
so.
okay.
Yeah. And I think on the other side, acá, tampoco tienes
No, ahí es,
screen,
screen.
so yeah, the
Only
only,
solo aquí.
that side.
Okay, thank you.
So, okay. So this structure was added by the applicant, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. She added it because she assumed that the lot line was as it is drawn on the property where the other fence existed?
That is correct.
Okay. So in looking in your hardship descriptions, number 1, you said that the encroachment was due to an inaccurate real estate transaction. The real estate team failed to perform a proper due diligence to uncover the property line where the fence line exists. So she bought the home in 2019, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and was it financed?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, so she should have gotten, as a requirement, a survey of the property, correct?
Yes,
So the due diligence is on the buyer, correct?
yep, buyer beware, state
Buyer
of
beware.
Florida.
Yep. So does the survey not show the proper lot line?
So when she has the survey, I have the survey in front of me, if you want me, because you guys have it part of the record as well. So this is the survey that was given to her. And when she came in, she assumed that the fence line was here. She doesn't know how to read blueprints. Most of the people don't really. So they automatically assumed that that was the true property line. Now, they did uncover that the alley was vacated, so they automatically assumed that that was part of the property line. It was vacated, obviously through alleyway vacating ordinance 7519-A, and that was given by Barbara Lynch when we did the investigation earlier this year. So it goes on and it trickles a little bit because they automatically assume that's the property line, and they just add on their screen enclosure. They go ahead and pave it, thinking, it's gonna be easier access for them, especially her mom, that she has a walker and whatnot. And it just trickles on from there. Now she's left basically trying to redo the whole thing and trying to bring it into compliance. So she's had to get building permits. She's gonna have to tear a lot of concrete out, stuff that she's already invested, and it's just cleanup time, so.
I understand that, but hardship, it's, the survey clearly shows the lot line. And it shows that the other fence encroaches into property that does not belong to this lot.
Right, and that was done
Correct.
prior to her purchase, yeah, by the
This was
original
done for her
property owner.
purchase, correct?
Huh?
This was done for her purchase?
No,
This
it was
part-
done prior to the purchase.
So this conveyed to her because of when the other person,
Yeah, so
Right.
the original property owner, they built the house in 2016. I saw from the actual aerials of the property appraiser, it showed that the fence was placed in there and everything else was there. And it was prior to her purchasing it in 2019.
okay, thank you.
Any further questions from the board?
Does the applicant have an issue with a condition of never enclosing?
Oh,
The-
si tienes
the not
alguna,
including-
un problema
not
de
including where air
nunca
conditioning.
encerrarlo, el lanai. La estructura que tenemos, que si tenés algún problema, si ellos ponen una condición de nunca puedes encerrar esto con aire acondicionado para
No,
hacer.
eso no tiene aire acondicionado.
Okay, she says it's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Is there anyone here to speak for or against? A rebuttal. You can ask one. There's
Yeah,
something else?
I do have another question. Stephen, so this So say, for instance, the lot line was where the vinyl fence was originally, correct? Say that was the lot line.
Okay?
A permit would still be necessary to build something this large.
Correct.
Okay, because you just can't put it up because of where the setback is.
Correct.
You would have to because it's over 12 by 12?
Because this is attached to the primary structure.
Correct.
You would
That
need
too.
You would need one.
So you would need a permit regardless?
Correct.
Okay, so it was built without a permit,
That is correct.
regardless of where the lot line was?
Correct.
Thank you.
There's a permit listed on here, BLD 240504-901.
Correct. That permit is still in process because of the variance. It has been on hold to address the rear setback.
Okay, no one to speak for or against. It's a public hearing and hear from the board.
I mean, being a real estate professional, I take issue with, within a hardship request, blame being placed on a real estate professional for not doing due diligence when due diligence lands on the buyer. And understanding how to read surveys and such is the responsibility of the buyer. The other issue I take is that regardless of where this lot line is, you still need a permit to build something like this. So this was not, it's part of the process. I mean, it's what you have to do. So I understand the need for it. I totally do. That's not our job. But I take issue with this.
And I'm not excusing what they did, but not everybody is as knowledgeable in real estate as you are.
I understand that.
So they may have been working with someone who, didn't quite understand all of the requirements. Not a good excuse,
Right.
but I understand it, especially with the language.
But regardless of where the lot line is, a permit is required to build that piece.
Oh, for sure,
Okay.
always.
Yep.
And you would think that the person who built it would be able to read the plans.
Right,
Someone would have to read plans.
Somebody.
right. So,
A lot line's a lot line.
so when they have plans on ripping up the concrete and putting the grass there, right? So this is the true.
True lot, that's where they have moved the fence.
Mm-hmm.
The fence was improper, it was encroaching into the alley, so
Right.
the fence is now there.
So now this is the fence.
That's the fence, and all of this will become grass.
Grass,
That's all.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to know what they were gonna do with the other part of where the dirt was on the other side of the concrete. Did you say that?
Well, that is not theirs anymore.
not.
This
Oh, so
here,
that's gonna go, I'm
they
so
have-
sorry about
they
that.
They have no right to this. And so they're not, that's why they moved the fence to this line now.
Right.
So that is not part of, that, we have, that's
Can
not
I see
theirs.
the picture? Can you put up the picture so I can just?
It's okay.
So could the real estate person request it since it was vacated?
Title should have known it too,
Okay, so,
because title would note an encroachment. But if you receive, if it's under 5 years, you can receive the survey from the seller,
okay.
if the
So-
title company accepts it.
Okay, so you see this part right here? Okay, that's gonna.
So the
be
fence
grass.
is now
Here.
there.
Okay, exactly.
this will all
Oh,
become
be gra-
grass.
Okay, that's what
Yes.
I wanted to
Yes.
know. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, you're welcome.
It's an unfortunate situation, but the fact that there is an alley that's vacated behind them
That's okay.
makes it less offensive to me,
Yeah.
because it does give them some buffer that they mistakenly thought was theirs. But regardless, it is existing, so I don't have a problem with it, given that they're gonna do
And being
that.
a corner lot, it's kind of one of those strange,
Yeah.
where's the front, where's the back, where's the
Right,
sides? and
yeah.
It does get a little hairy there when you're looking at code.
Right.
If
I
it
also
makes you
don't-
feel any better,
They
I
didn't
did
take up the
measure.
entire backyard with a screening board. They took theoretically half of it approximately, which is
Yeah.
a reasonable.
I look at this as a win in that there are, when you look at the Google Maps pictures of homes in this area, it's like solid pavement. It's ridiculous. And unless they come for, you know, a permit or something that they wanna revise, it's just gonna stay that way. So I look at this as a win because at least we're gonna get some relief with grass.
Right, I agree.
And so, board members, I just remind you that you have to base your decision
I understand.
on a hardship on the property. So
I understand.
when- as your, whoever would like to try for a motion.
Oh, because I'm the chair, I don't have to, so.
Would you do that? I'll support her.
Go.
It's supposed to be there. I'm not torn.
Megan, you wanna?
This is gonna be a tough one because it has conditions.
Yeah. So one of the conditions
Do
would,
you want me to do it?
yeah, so one of the conditions would
The
be
conditions are they can't enclose it.
they can't
Yeah.
close it.
Okay.
You gonna do it?
But,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, all right. So I move for the variance request, or sorry, move that the variance request for case VRB 25-53 located at 8202 North Brook Street, as depicted on the site plan presented here at the public hearing for a reduction in the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 10 feet for the attached solid roof enclosure. And then with the condition that it never be conditioned or enclosed other than screening, be granted, and also a condition that does not include, sorry, what was it? Covered area B, it only includes covered area A. That said variance as condition be granted based upon the application presenting competent substantial evidence in the record of the public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria as set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that the existing fence line was put on there and they assumed that it was in the wrong spot. They should have known better, but I do understand how that mistake can be made by a non-professional. And also that it's a corner lot.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, call the question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise? Your motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Council.
Good evening, board. Moving right along. The next item is VRB 25-56. The owner is Bradley Powers. The property address is 3007
Yep.
West
Yep.
Aquila Street. The zoning is residential single family, RS50. The request is to reduce the accessory structure setback in the rear yard from 3 feet to 1 feet for a 12-foot span for a freestanding fireplace. The section in reference is 27-290. Schedule of area height bulk placement regulations of accessory structure setbacks are 60 feet from the front, 3 feet from the rear, and 3 feet from the sides. There is one previous action, CMP-25-0002217, for work without permits. This is a aerial of the site, as you can outline here. This is a site plan showing the fireplace that is 10 foot by 4 foot, and it's a foot off the rear property line. I have a photo of the fireplace as well. So this is a freestanding fireplace, which I believe is connected to a natural gas. And it meets all other accessory structures, heights, etc. It's just encroaching 2 feet into the rear setback. Natural Resources had no objections, with conditions that they meet all green space requirements and all other applicable sections of Chapter 27. Transportation, wastewater, water, right-of-way, stormwater, and TECO had no objections or no comment on the application. This was also reviewed by fire upon special request because of the type of request it is, being a fireplace. Fire provided no comment because it is residentially zoned property, so they could not provide a review. This is the criteria under 27-80 to the Variance Review Board power. and then I'll be available for any comments, questions, concerns.
And I'm sorry, you mentioned something about permit during your, was it with a permit, without a permit?
It was without, work
Which-
without a
and what-
permit.
Sorry, I was looking at the site plan. So the fireplace was is the problem without the permit? Was there anything else that was involved without a permit?
Just the fireplace is under the CMP inspection.
Okay, so everything else was done with, everything else on this site?
That is correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
The document camera is ready for you, so you can drop anything right on there.
Okay, thank you. My name is Brad Powers. My address is 3007 West Aquila Street, Tampa, Florida, 33629. I've been sworn in. Thank you. This is a home that my wife and I purchased a year or two ago and have been renovating it to, I guess, be our spot where we live the rest of our lives. This fireplace is in a backyard in an area that was difficult to maintain because of shade associated with the house and otherwise. So we decided to extend an existing paver patio to the back and put in this fireplace. We built a fireplace like this about 30 years ago with no issues, and so had no idea that it required any specific variance or setback. And we went to Old Castle to buy this. It's actually a kit. It's a big Lego thing that masons put together. And we hired the mason that Old Castle recommended, who had done these fireplaces on previous occasions. They apparently had no idea that it was required a setback. And interestingly, after the fact, told us that this wasn't a structure that required a setback because it didn't fit into that definition. Seeing Ms. Johnson-Velez here, I'm happy that I didn't decide to litigate that issue and proceed with this variance request instead. And so we're in this situation where we, according to the city, have a setback violation, but the fireplace really can't be moved without damaging and destroying the structure, which would be an economic waste, obviously. I would tell you that the fireplace itself is 2 feet from the line. The reason we're asking for a 1 foot setback is because it's on a pad, and the pad extends to 1 foot from the property line. So there's actually a 2 foot space between the fireplace and in the property line. We have no complaints from anybody in the neighborhood. In fact, they love it. And part of your package should be letters from the property behind the fireplace, the property to the east and west of our property, indicating that they have no objection and are in favor of our variance because they're in favor of our fireplace. I don't know if they have access to these things, but you won't be able to read them anyway. But those are the letters from the folks in the neighborhood.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. The fireplace, as I mentioned, significantly improves the property in the sense that this was an area that was a mud hole when we got there because of inability to grow grass in that area. And so that's why we are here for a variance. I am happy to answer any questions that you might have. We're in the process of getting a building permit for the pavers as well as the fireplace. That is the building permit in progress issue. I've been in front of those folks and told that I got to get a variance before I can get a building permit. And so that is what I'm here for today. Let me know if you have any questions.
Could you put up a picture of the fireplace again?
Sure.
So the fireplace is not flush against the fence?
No, 2 feet between the fireplace and the fence. If you look at the bottom right-hand part of the fireplace, you can see a little piece of a pad sticking out. The pad goes to 1 foot to the fireplace. Preston Ferrier Jr. is the person that lives behind, and he's one of the people that's signed a letter saying that he has no objection to it.
Okay, thank you. Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
Maybe I should add that there is you can't see it in the photograph, but there is a ember cap on top of this chimney, so it's not a fire hazard. And this is something that we're gonna use 12 times a year maybe, in the winter months. And so I think that fire might be okay with it, or I'm sure they would, because there is a ember cap on top of it. That concludes my presentation.
Okay. All right, any other questions from the board?
Is it natural gas or wood burning or both?
That's kind of how this came about. We added natural gas to the home, and we were thinking about putting it to the back fireplace. The inspector that came and passed the home natural gas is the person that flagged this setback issue. So it does not have current existing natural gas service to it.
Any other questions? Okay, anyone here to speak for or against? Seeing none, you have rebuttal time if you'd like, but
I'm not sure
covered everything
I'm not
you'd
sure
like.
what to rebut. So if I've been told, I have learned to keep my mouth shut if that time comes along.
Good. Okay, we'll close the public hearing and hear from the board. You know, it's such a minor intrusion, and it's a fireplace and freestanding fireplace. I know we get it all the time when they're attached, but this is kind of a unique case, I have to admit. I don't think I've ever seen one on my time on the board like that. I don't have a problem with it, so if you guys want to make a motion.
I mean, I do want to put out there that, you know, what's the hardship?
Right.
We've got a double lot, square,
It is a big
slap
lot.
in the middle of the neighborhood. I find it hard for myself to approve a variance that does not have the hardship as specified by the rules.
Right. I agree as well.
Other than hiring an incompetent builder or,
I mean, it's been said over and over.
I
Do we want to
know,
open up
Right,
the?
right.
you're
for
absolutely
question?
right.
You're not wrong. I think the thing with something like this, you know, is we mostly address structures up here when something, you know, something that's livable, you can live inside, you're not gonna live inside the fireplace. So truthfully, what I was expecting through this whole thing is that fire would have an issue being a foot, 2 feet away from, but
Right.
clearly, because they have no jurisdiction in something like this, which is strange to me, but
Right.
Agreed.
I agree too.
that was what I was waiting for, but they don't have jurisdiction in it. So, you know, it's a fireplace, and, you know, clearly the people building the fireplace had no idea. And typically, somebody that you hire as a contractor to do those things is knowledgeable about, I mean, pool installers, fence
It could be a
installers.
fountain, it could be a koi
Could have been
pond.
anything,
Right,
right? But these
right.
people did not know,
Right.
and he hired them, and put his faith in them that if there was a problem, they would tell him.
Right.
And
They could have very easily been built 1 foot farther.
Absolutely.
Right.
they could have. They didn't. I mean, it is odd to me, but that's my personal opinion, that it is that close to somebody's lot line and
Yeah.
home behind. I would have a problem with it myself,
I would
to be
too.
quite honest with you. I'd be like, I don't want you to burn my house
Right,
down.
exactly.
But, you know, as I said, he hired somebody that he trusted that does this work, that did not advise him properly. And so he didn't build it himself, which I would have bigger issue with if he built it himself.
There's nothing saying he couldn't put a solar stove on the property line. If it's
Correct.
portable, there's no reason why it could be, but he built a very nice structure, putting all the flames towards
Yep.
himself with a cap on.
Yep.
He did everything to protect.
That's the only difficulty I have with this, is that the person that he hired was
done
not
right, it's a foot
knowledgeable
in one
enough to
place.
tell him,
Yeah, I think that's.
you've gotta get this checked out before you do this.
I feel like that's.
It's very concerning to me.
Yeah, you'd be amazed because I live in one of those older homes in South Tampa, and we're, constantly doing a renovation here or there, and they would, I've been told so many times, oh, you don't need a permit for this, or, oh, there's no variance for this, or there's no setback requirement, and, because of what I do, I know that I have to do, the due diligence does require drawings and a permit, but
Right.
I don't know how the city of Tampa can do a better job getting that out. I don't know if there is a way, but, in this case, I don't,
I don't know, I still think that, if we want to vote on it and open it back up to the gentleman to speak to the hardship.
I would love to.
I mean,
Yeah.
the alleged hardship or practical difficulty is unique and singular with respect to the property.
Right.
Or with respect to a structure or building thereon, and not those suffered in common with other party structures or buildings similarly located. I have a hard time finding a hardship on this lot for this structure.
I agree.
I agree with you, do I think
Yeah.
that it's kind of strange that it's a fireplace and, or, like you said, it could be a pond or a waterfall,
Right.
whatever may have you.
Right.
But, we're kind of bound by these criteria.
Yeah.
If it was a corner lot and you could say, oh, maybe that was not a rear, it's a side, that's something that I could entertain, but at this point in time, I don't have a hardship that I think really qualifies.
Right.
So to me, the hardship is the same. We've had many builders come to us before with pools and say, we didn't know, we built it in the wrong spot, I'm sorry, and kind of play themselves with the sword. I feel like it's a very similar type situation on that piece. You had a builder do it. The builder's not here representing it. He's doing it himself, but that doesn't mean that he built it himself in the wrong spot. It was built in the wrong spot. That, I realize that was technically a self-made hardship, but it was caused by a builder doing it in the wrong spot, not by him.
Okay, and, I'm just speaking what we're bound by.
Understood, understood. I don't disagree with you. I just, kind of an unfortunate situation where, if it had been like a big patio back there that was covered and, it's on a house this lot this big, it could have been 40 feet long, and then I'd have a real problem with it. But the fact that it's such a small
Can I ask him
length of.
Susan, can I ask him a
No, we
question?
need to
We have to
Right,
open
we
it.
have to open the hearing.
Which I'll fully support, we can, okay?
Yeah.
You wanna open the public hearing?
Yeah, please.
All those in favor of opening?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, go for it.
So, Mr. Powers, is there, I'm looking at your lot, which is huge, which is lovely. I live on a double lot myself. And just curious as to, because of how much space you do have, is there a particular reason why the fireplace is so close to your neighbor behind you and not shifted maybe to the other side of your patio? I'm just very curious about why it's so close to your lot line.
The only thing that I can speculate about is that the contractor that did it just brought it up to the edge of those pavers and put it in.
But that's where you wanted it. That's the question.
Well, yeah, if you saw my entire house, you would see through the front door, through a door, behind the front door.
Creating a picture.
Onto this,
Yeah,
this patio.
you were creating a
fireplace.
picture.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
When was the house built? Old house, new house?
Old house.
Old house.
Old
I
house.
saw some of the letters saying that, but glad you didn't tear it down, which is, I also agree, a great thing. The brick pavers look pretty old that are back there. Was that an original that came with the house when you bought it?
If you look at the, this area where this table is,
Mhm.
those were existing pavers out to this, about where my finger goes. And we were able to fortunately match those pavers through these old castle people to match them. So we extended it out.
So Old Castle did the pavers and the fireplace.
Old Castle sold me the materials and recommended the mason to do the job. They don't do the work themselves. I'm sure they don't, but they recommended the person that did it for us.
Sounds about right. And according to Zillow, it was built in 1937.
Okay.
Do you have any other hardship that you'd speak to for the
I mean,
location and property and stuff like that?
The only hardship that I've mentioned, or then I think I probably can mention, is the fact that you couldn't maintain the backyard area because of the grass wouldn't grow there, and when we got there, it was a mud hole, and it continued to be a mud hole until they put these paver down. I can tell you that after the fact, it would be a significant hardship because I can't move that, and tearing it down would be quite a financial loss.
So bringing it in there actually improved the drainage of the lot. You had some drainage issues, which created a mud hole back there, and you had to bring in some fill and improve the grass areas around it to.
They did.
You just understand what I'm going for here.
When they put the pavers down, they did all of that stuff. So yes,
So you did have a drainage issue on the existing property, so you had to bring it up.
I'm not a professional, but yes.
Any other questions? We'll close the public hearing again and hear from the board. And it sounds like you guys are conflicted, so I can't make.
I get where Aaron is going with that. Understand.
Someone want to make a motion?
Someone has to.
I can't.
I'll make the motion. I move that the variance request for VRB 25-56 for the property located at 3007 West Achilles Street be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a request to reduce the accessory structure rear yard setback from 3 foot to 1 foot for a 12-foot span for a fireplace upon the applicant, upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record in this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that it was part of the extension of a pavered area over an area that significantly took on significant water, and this potentially helped, according to the applicant, the drainage in the area behind his home.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, I'll call a question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise? It's 4-1. Thank you.
Thank you,
Motion
folks.
passes.
I don't know if it's appropriate, but the city staff has been excellent in working with. If that is Lisa Middleton, I can only see the top of her, the back of her head. She was very helpful, so I appreciate all of that.
Thank you for saying that. We appreciate that. Okay.
Let's move on to the next item, VRB 25-69. The owner is the Sumis Law Group, PA. The applicant is Michael, I'm not gonna go for that last name. The address is 3444 South West Shore Boulevard. The zoning is commercial general. The request is to reduce parking reduction from 18 spaces to 17 spaces from a dental office. This request was updated and sent out to the board. Originally, the first staff report you received showed a request from 18 spaces to 13 spaces. They were able to work with the lot and restriping to get to 17. The code section of reference is section 27-283.7, number of off-street parking spaces, medical use, dental, eye, veterinary, and other health-related uses require 6 spaces for 1,000 square feet of gross floor area. This lot requires 18 based off of that calculation. There is a DE1, 25-000189, to reduce buffer and parking lot islands to keep the parking lot in its existing configuration. So this is the site in question. It's a pre-existing law office that is being converted into a dental office. So this shows the updated site plan that utilizes both compact spaces and full-size spaces to get to that 17 space count that they are providing today. This is a street view of the site. As you can see, this is the buffer that no longer meets code. It has a small retaining wall and then goes up to plantings where trees and shrubs are already existing. And then that wraps around. And then due to the increases in parking spaces, due to the use, it triggered the parking lot islands. So that's why the design exception is in, to adjust those numbers and maintain the buffer as existing. Natural Resources has no objections due to the DE1. The vehicle use area adjacent to any right-of-way shall be 8 feet green space, a 8-foot green space buffer containing the following 2-foot hedges at the time of planting that run the entire length of the buffer, and trees every 40 feet. Landscape islands shall not be separated by 20 linear side-by-side parking spaces, nor by an average of 10 linear side-by-side parking spaces. So they don't have 20 spaces in a row, but because of the existing condition, they don't have one every 10 linear spaces. Transportation had objections due to the just the misread on the site plan. The request is to reduce parking from 18 to 13. They must clearly state the application and justification memo. This has been updated in the staff report, and their objections have been removed and marked as consistent. Wastewater, water, right-of-way, and stormwater had no objections. Stormwater had one condition: no proposed stormwater connection to the city's right-of-way, therefore there is no design to be reviewed. And then TICO had no objections. See the attached TICO memo. This is section 2780 of the Variance Review Board power and the hardship criteria, and I'll be available for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Did y'all have the deck, the PowerPoint deck? We have it printed out if not, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think I do.
No problem. Hello. Gotcha. My name is David McElwaney. This is my wife, Macy McElwaney. She's the dentist, in case you couldn't tell. We both live at 4515 South Trask Street, and we have both been sworn in.
Thank you.
Did I get everything? I believe he covered everything, but so this is the existing building. You can see that. So one more quick comment, by the way. The owner and applicant, Sessoms Law Group, was the previous owner. We are the buyer, and Michael Cimarelli is our contractor, but we are speaking on our own behalf as future business owners. So this is the existing building. We're hoping to repurpose it into a dental office from a law office without changing or repaving the parking lot or access or circulation patterns. As he mentioned, the request is to reduce it from 18 to 17, not to 13. So we're only requesting for one spot off of what is required for medical zoning. You could see the green spots are the ones that are able to be restriped to up the total to 17. You can see along the edges of the property, there are five or half a dozen oak trees, along with a lot of pine trees and palm trees, that we would like to keep all of them and would not like to have to do any repaving if possible. Running through the hardship criteria, the first one being that this is unique. It's a building that was built in the 1980s. It's an existing building, third of an acre. And the circulation patterns, the trees on the property, and the existing layout leave no practical way to stripe an 18th spot. The fact that this hardship is not self-created stems from existing code and an existing building that we are purchasing, not that we have bought or that we have already purchased, not that we have built or altered in any way. And we want to note that code administratively allows up to 50% parking reduction for other changes of use, but we recognize that that's not necessarily applicable to medical. No adverse impact to health, safety, and welfare. We are only asking for a one-spot reduction. I'm not a lawyer, so I won't read in Latin to you, but we don't foresee any circulation or safety risks. Again, city code and approved rezonings permit far larger reduction than parking. We believe that this will maintain adequate parking capacity, and I'll have Macy talk to you a little bit about what her busiest possible day can look like and how we won't need more than 17 parking spots.
Yes, so Macy McWaney, I don't know if I'm sworn in. I have been a dentist for 5 years, so I have a pretty good experience on what slow days and busy days are like. Our office, we are going to have 7 operatories, so at most at one time, which would be unusual, there would be 7 patients, potentially 7 vehicles. I plan to, as far as employees go, including myself, there may be another 5 employees, so that would be 6 in total. So as you can see, that's well under that, 17 parking spaces that would be available. And again, that would be like the busiest day, having 7 patients in an office at one time. I'm the only dentist at this office, so that.
Sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yep.
And we've been trying to check Stephen, but I just confirmed with Lisa. So unfortunately, we don't have an affidavit to author. Sessom's Law Group still owns this property, correct?
No, we closed on the building.
Stephen, do you have?
When was the closure? I just want to verify.
August.
The ninth,
Does it-
August
we still have
19th,
Sessom's
I
Law Group
believe.
As the property owner and a different applicant as the, and nothing to authorize. I just.
So what would you suggest we do?
Because the variance would be for the law group, not for.
Well, unless they're, I mean, if they're
But they are the owner, the variance runs with the land, so I just need to verify that they have.
This
Okay.
is our.
Hey guys, I'm John Martin with TI Builders, 2153 Summerhill Circle, Franklin, Tennessee. I work for TI Builders. I'm representing TI
And
Builders.
have you been sworn in?
Oh, I have been sworn in, sorry.
Thank you.
I'm representing Mike Cimarelli. We were the one who processed the initial variance using Sessom's Law Group as the owner prior to them purchasing the building to get the paperwork moving initially. But they have since the beginning of the variance application, they have purchased the building, and so ownership is transferred over to them. The Mica owns.
Does anybody have?
I do not.
Have what?
Anything that shows that documentation?
Purchase document for this.
We have,
Sure.
because you're binding this, you know what I mean? This is gonna run with the land, and I have to make sure that.
Understood.
And I'm sorry, I don't have you on there either.
I
Right, it's-
apologize.
Is that not
Michael
public
Cimarelli,
record
so-
already?
Right? John?
Correct.
I thought
That
that's
is
what
the
it said.
most recent.
Yes.
Oh,
Hold on a second.
And then this is on the sale for the property appraiser, the new deed. And then I can scroll up.
Wally Real Estate is the real estate holding company that we formed to hold the property, and McElwainey Dentistry will be the operating company that we lease the building to ourselves. To describe the LLC names you're seeing on the screen.
Typically, all this would be
Yes.
verified before, so I mean, I don't have the ability to.
What is the address is 344 Southwest Shore?
Correct.
3444.
Yes.
But, all right, so the petitioner, though, is Michael Cimarelli, right?
That's the applicant.
Applicant, and you're Michael Cimarelli?
No, I'm John
Oh.
Martin.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's,
I work for him.
Michael Cimarelli is our contractor. He's
He was
someone
also
from the
authorized by
contracting team
Sessom's Law
representing.
Group, So that's,
yeah.
wouldn't count either unless he's authorized.
Well, legal, what would you recommend?
So the property appraiser has it as Wally Real Estate now too.
So now, we're just looking up to make sure Wally.
Is them.
Yes.
On Sunbiz.
It's in Delaware.
Yeah, registered to operate in Florida. It should be on Sunbiz as well.
Yeah, but yeah, we are registered to operate as a business in Florida. Apologies for this.
It's Wally, what?
Real Estate LLC.
David, so
McElwaney.
it shows in Sunbiz that Wally Real Estate LLC is
You the manager?
is Macy
Or
and
member?
David
Okay.
McElwaney.
Believe we said owner.
Do you want to
and-
see it?
No,
But yes.
I trust you. So Stephen, you'll supplement the record and show that the new property, okay. Okay, so, under oath, and we've verified, so, okay,
Wally Real Estate.
Thank you.
thank you.
Sorry about that.
David
I
and
appreciate
Macy
it.
McElwaney, authorized person. So
Any further questions on that topic?
Not on the ownership, so,
That's
okay,
strange.
you can proceed,
Okay, so we left off with no adverse
don't-
impact to health, safety, and welfare, with Macy indicating that her busiest day would not need 17 parking spots.
what's that?
Can I interrupt for a second? I'm sorry. Please tell me your name again, the last name.
Albert?
Yes.
McElwaney,
McElwaney.
Yep.
Okay.
yes.
All right, thank you.
This variance would be consistent with code intent and the comprehensive city plan, so it's adaptive reuse of an established building, supporting sustainable redevelopment. It's near compliant, again, we're only asking for one spot of parking reduction, and achieves the chapter's intent of adequate on-site supply, promotes accessibility to local goods and services. We both grew up in Tampa and in the neighborhood, and would love to have the chance to provide medical service to the neighborhood that we grew up in. And finally, substantial justice. So we believe that strict enforcement of parking code here would create a hardship without a public benefit. We would probably ultimately need to, either reduce square footage, add pavement, or ultimately, with no other way around it, resell the property. And we hope that granting the variance would achieve practical compliance with minimal impact, and it enables continued productive use of this building without significant redevelopment. And I believe that concludes our presentation.
Any questions from the board?
Just wanted to circle back. The parking lot is the way it currently exists. You guys are able to get the 17 and 18, which is great. I know you talked about possibly making the parking lot larger, the only way to make that happen, but there's some beautiful oak trees and trees around it, so we're trying to save those. Otherwise, we'd have to be in here talking about removing of a tree to add one more parking space, which nobody wants to do.
Right, we don't want to remove any of the trees on the property.
Gotcha. All right, I just wanted to make sure that I had the whole story correct.
Yes. Our goal is to only have to renovate the interior of the building and restripe the parking lot to get it to 17 spots.
Mr. Eister, I know saving trees is a wonderful thing, and we have allowances for saving trees, for rearrangement of footprints and all of these wonderful things. Could we not get one space for saving trees?
So medical and restaurants are two categories of uses that cannot be administratively reduced for parking. So that's why it's here today. Originally, we were going to try to process as a DE1 when this first came in, which would be an administrative process. But because of that caveat that everybody else can do a DE1 except for those two. That's why they're in front of you today, even for just the one spot.
Good to know.
Okay, so this is correct, the agenda is not.
That is correct.
Okay.
They were able to reconfigure, so they can still move forward with the 13 because the 17 is less of an ask, but I wanted to give you the most up-to-date information that reflected the most current site plan. And that's why the updated packets went out as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I had the right one in front of me. Okay. Any further questions from the board? Anyone here to speak for or against? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and see what the board's pleasure is.
Seems pretty straightforward. They're saving trees. They're asking for one space.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Agreed.
Not
What's that?
Nothing. All right. Any other discussion? All right.
Please make a motion.
I move that the variance request for case VRB 25-69 for property located at 3444 South West Shore Boulevard be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a reduction in parking from 18 spaces to 17 spaces for a dental office. Upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record that at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty considered the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that they are not taking out any trees and they're saving our trees. We really appreciate that. And it's one less space. It's a minimal ask.
A motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Madam Chair, I'd like to request a 5-minute recess, very quick. Yes.
that would be
That's a
wonderful.
good way to put it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, I'm gonna try switching chairs. Try yours? It looks lower. That was our company for you. My problem. Well, the problem is that I've also read, that's why I wasn't here last month.
All the funny ones.
Yep.
And
I let my kid order on one time, so I've got like dinosaurs.
okay. Okay, should be able to find it now.
next item on the agenda is VRB 25-70. The owner is Carrington and Dana Olson. The property address is 4714 West Elaine Avenue. The zoning is residential single family RS 60. The request is to reduce the front setback from 25 feet to 20 feet. The code reference section is section 27-156, table 4-2. Schedule of area, height, bulk, and placement regulations of RS 60 district setbacks are 25 feet from the front, 20 feet in the rear, 7 feet on the sides. The previous action is SPR-25-000107 for a carport. This is the property in question. This carport was damaged in the storm in the last hurricane and has been removed. The owner is looking to replace that carport. And the proposed setback, because this is RS 60, has a 25-foot setback, and they are requesting to go down to 20 feet to replace the carport. This is a close-up showing the house at 29.8 feet, the required setback at 25 feet, and then the requested setback for the carport at 20 feet, and then they are meeting the side yard setback. And then the carport is 29 by 22 in width, 29 width, 22 in depth. Natural resources, transportation, wastewater, water, right-of-way, stormwater, and TECO all had no objections. This is the criteria under 27-80, the application of variance power, and the 5 criteria for hardship. I'll be available for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Thank you, sir.
That concludes my presentation.
Is petitioner here?
And then the document camera is ready to go.
Good evening. My name is Creighton Olson. I live at 4714 West Alline Avenue. I confirm that I have been sworn in.
Thank you.
Basically, I think I'm asking for the simplest thing I've heard tonight. All I want to do is replace what Milton took away. All right, as you see, my carport there, those cars are gone. The hurricane took those as well. And you can see the neighbor's carport right there. Now, the interesting thing about this, the reason we're asking for the 5-foot setback, doesn't sound like a lot. But with the current, if we have to go with the way it is currently now, our carport can only be 17 feet deep. Our car is 16 feet 1 inch, which means, okay, the car gets to stay nice and dry, but anytime you want to take the groceries out in the afternoon, or you want to take the luggage out of the back of the car, you get to stand in the rain while the car stays dry. That's all we're looking for. Again, how do I phrase this? It seems to me a simple decision, but decisions that other people make frequently seem that way, all right? But in this case, all we're looking for is to restore what was. The house was built, like 1959. We have no idea when that was. I've only been in the house 10 years. The carport, who knows? Eisenhower was president, Nixon, I don't know, 60s, 70s. It looks 70s or no longer than the 80s. So it's been there a while. Again, the street itself, Alline Avenue, is only like 22 houses. It's off of West Shore. It's a little jug handle, not a through street. This is very in keeping with the neighborhood. All the little houses, there's only like 22 houses on this little jug handle. They're all built in the 50s. About half of them, I think, have these carports. That's all we're looking to do is restore what used to be. Simple request. Hopefully I've saved you some time. Hopefully you'll take that into consideration.
Does that conclude your presentation?
This concludes my presentation.
Okay, any questions from the board?
You said that the neighboring properties have similar carports and such. The neighboring properties similar age,
Yes.
similar carports, and I'm assuming they're a similar setback distance?
Yes, although the whole, when we applied for the carport, it was our contractor that was like, hey, there's a problem. So then when we were discussing this with neighbors, it was quite the revelation to everyone. It's like, oh yeah, you know how the street where your driveway hits the street, yeah, 12 feet in is the city. So if you ever want to put, and I understand if you ever want to put sidewalks or you want to widen the road, but this is such a small little jug handle residential road, I don't think that's ever going to happen, so.
Okay.
I appreciate that your contractor advised you properly.
Yes,
So
Susan.
for purposes of the motion, I apologize for talking so much tonight, but conditions on other properties are not relevant to the Virginia. Okay, I just want to remind you
Understood.
again. Thank you.
Okay, so the only portion that's going to, that the variance is applied to is to the carport. The rest of the house is not gonna change.
Correct, it's just the carport.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone here to speak for or against? Seeing none, you have anything you'd like to add?
I would like to echo the comments of speaker 2 times ago. The city staff has been really top-notch.
Thank you,
Very
we think so
helpful.
too.
Sure.
Okay, all right, ready for, any further discussion? You wanna make a motion?
Sure. I will move that the variance request for case VRB 25-70 for property located at 4714 West Online Avenue be granted as depicted on the site plan, presented at a public hearing for reduction in front yard setback from 25 feet to 20 feet to place a carport destroyed by Hurricane Milton. Based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record and at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty, and considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that this was an older home built in approximately the 50s with a carport that was of similar age due to the location, and I believe this was an RS 60 dwelling, the setbacks being 25 feet instead of 20 feet, and the placement of the house on that lot to fit within the setback creates a smaller than standard carport area. And additionally, the property line to the edge of pavement is an additional 12 feet, so there's still a good amount of land in between the carport and the roadway, so there should be no hazard or public safety issues.
A motion? Second. Any further discussion? If not, call the question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise? Thank you, Mr. Olson.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next item is VRB-25-73. The owner is John and Aaron Kresovich. Property address is 4509 South Datura. The zoning is residential single family, RS 60. The request is to reduce the rear yard setback from 3 feet to 0 feet and the side setback from 7 feet to 0 feet for a 8-foot by 10-foot tough shed. The section of reference is 27-290, Schedule of Area, Height, Bulk, and Placement Regulations. Accessory structure setbacks are 6 feet from the front, 3 feet from the rear, 3 feet from the side, and 7 feet from the corner. The previous actions was CMP-25-0007631 and CMP-25-0007515. These were for a separate accessory structure that was built on the opposite side of the property. That was a playhouse and slide that went into the pool. Those cases have been closed. This is the house in reference. The other accessory structure in question was in this corner here. The area we are referencing today is this front corner here. This is a site plan. So this is the playhouse with slide. This is the 8x10 tough shed that was placed in this front corner here along the corner and rear property line. This is a zoom up just showing that the shed is located in the farthest extent of the property in that corner. Natural Resources has no objections. Transportation, wastewater, water, right-of-way, stormwater, and TECO have no objections with conditions. TECO is requiring that the meter box be 48 inches away from the tough shed. So the owner has been made aware of that condition and will adjust to meet that. This is section 2780, the applicant's application of variance power, and the 5 hardship criteria. And I'm available for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Did you say beer box?
What was that?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Meter box.
Thank you.
Meter box.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's for the pool.
Hi, I'm Erin Graskovich, and this is John Graskovich. We live at 4509 South Datura Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33611. We have both been sworn in. We are meeting about our shed in the backyard. We just moved to the city of Tampa in January, so we are brand new residents, loving our new neighborhood full of oak trees. In fact, even planted our own trees. It's been really fun getting to know neighbors and everything. I was really excited about this house because it's built in 1961. I am an historical home buff, so one of my criteria for moving here is we came from honestly a very boring house in South Florida that was of like more Spanish structure, that I wanted an older home here, something with character, which was fabulous, except I guess in the excitement of buying the 1961 house, I realized we have a total of 9 closets, one of which houses a washer and dryer, one of which houses our HVAC return, and one of which is so shallow you can't fit a pillow into it. So we have very little storage, very low ceilings in the garage, don't have the opportunity to even put like a roof storage like we had in our old home. We have 5 children, 3 of which live at home with us still, all girls. So you can imagine the closet problems we have. So we are trying to make our 1961 home work. Our neighbors were very excited that we decided to, instead of knock it down, as a lot of the neighbors around us have done, keep the home and kind of redo the landscaping, add a fresh coat of paint, just spruce it up, add some landscaping, and really just put some love into the house. And we've had nothing but great comments from all of the neighbors, most of the neighbors. So I'll let you go ahead and give the description of everything.
Okay, great. So as my wife said, we decided to redo the property and re-landscape, kind of update things. As we were doing the backyard, we figured this is the only opportunity, the only site we could probably put a shed so we could have storage for our family and kind of modern storage for this older house. So I was just going to show some pictures. I'm glad someone requested you bring the pictures, so I did that. This is kind of the front 2 views of the house. It's on a corner lot. We have a very large front yard, and the house is kind of set back on the property. Actually, I guess I could just leave them there. So the boundary survey, that was obtained in December, right before we moved in. And Stephen showed that. Previously, there was a lot of equipment in this corner. There was a generator and the pool equipment, and we had that moved over towards the pool so we could put the shed. And as he showed, the site plan shows the tough shed in this corner here. The pictures of the shed, we asked our neighbors, where do you get a shed? Because everyone seemed to have them in South Florida. So they said tough sheds was kind of the best. So we ended up having tough sheds come out. We got the smallest shed they had, the 8 by 10 foot, to fit in this area. It is very secure. It's hurricane proof, up to 180 miles per hour. It's got those little helical ties that go in the ground, so it's very safe for storms. But you can see this is the view from our driveway. So we have a gate here to go in to our backyard with the shed being in the corner. This is the view from inside our backyard, and you can see it's not at 0 feet, but it measures about 7 inches away from the fence. And it's a relatively short shed. I do have pictures more from the road view. As you can see here, here's our house. This is the neighbor's house, and here's the shed close to the fence. There's a lot of trees in this area. Obviously, we love the oak trees, and there's some nice palm trees. It's kind of a hidden feature. It's not very well seen from the road. The last thing, and I know the attorney's going to not disclose that I can't show you this, but just walking around our block, there's sheds throughout the neighborhood that are right on the property lines. I know I can't compare anyone else's property to mine, and mine's a singular problem, but we didn't really know anything about setbacks for sheds or actually for our playset, and that was found out later once the shed was put up first and the playset later. So as far as looking at the 5 criteria, so we're requesting the variance to move the side setback. They're calling it 7 feet to 0 because I guess it's a corner, although we're really not on the corner. We're on kind of a straight way of our road, but I guess Chapin comes and dead ends at that site, so maybe that's why it's called a corner. But it's really on South Datura Road. And then from 3 feet to 0 feet, we're about 7 inches on that one to the rear lot. As far as being unique and singular, you can see our property. It basically has the house pushed back. If you look at the backyard, there's really no other site to put a shed. We have the pool and the pool deck that was there built 40 or 50 years ago, and this was a singular site we could actually put a storage shed. So I think that's our unique practical difficulty and hardship, that we don't really have any way to move it. We can't move it towards the house because the meter is actually 46.5 inches from our shed, so we have to get it 2 more inches away for TICO, which we'll do. Hopefully by moving the meter, that's what I'm going to hopefully do. The second criteria, it wasn't really an action that we did on our own. We hired a shed company that we trusted that came in, said we didn't need a permit because it's a small shed, and they placed it there, and we found out a month or 2 later when we were told that we were too close to the rear lot, or to the rear property line. So we didn't do this with our knowing that we were going against the setback rule. We feel that the shed doesn't really interfere with the health or welfare of others in the area. As I mentioned, it's a really great shed. It's hurricane resistant, has helical ground anchors, hardy plank construction. It's reinforced for winds up to 180 miles per hour. Would this approval be in harmony with the Tampa plan? I kind of looked through there and I found 2 things that I thought it was very much in harmony with. Per the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan for single-family areas, LU Objective 9.5 states the goal is to maintain the stability of existing areas while expanding opportunities for housing choices attractive to households with children. Obviously with our 5 kids, it's really great to be able to have this storage so we could actually kind of exist and not have storage throughout our house in the rooms that we don't want storage. And then LU Objective 9.5.2 states, maintain the character of single-family residential areas, discouraging demolition of single-family residence and displacement of residents. And we see so many houses like ours, kind of the 1960s houses that just get demolished and you put up a new large house, and I think that takes away from the character of South Tampa. We really love the character. And finally, I think approval of this would be a substantial justice considering our hardship. We have 2 storage units that we had for months until we got the shed, and we'd have to go back to probably having storage units again. Further, I don't think it's really a significant risk to the public, and so I think it would be a justice to approve our variance, and I hope you would consider that.
Thank you.
So any questions?
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yeah.
That concludes the presentation.
All right, any questions from the board?
So if I'm looking at the site plan, and I would consider this a corner lot. You have 2 streets on 2 sides, right? So that is makes it a bit of an awkward, you don't have any room on 2 sides of your house to put a shed because you're
It's like, it's a crazy corner lot, because we have Chapin on this end, Datura on this end, Carrington on this end, so we're like the intersection of 3 streets. So it's,
Well, it only takes 2 to make a corner.
okay, then I guess
so.
yes, 2 in the corner.
Yeah, they call this like a corner offset, but the corner's here, and there's no corner here. It's just the Chapin dead ends here. So maybe that qualifies it to be a corner. It looks more like
No, Carrington and Datura make you a corner.
Yeah, we're a
Because
corner
you have 2
lot.
sides of your lot that are.
Yeah, it kind of goes that way.
Corner lots.
Basically.
Yeah.
Which is why your house is pushed back against the back setbacks.
That makes sense.
And which is why you don't have any room in your backyard to put a shed.
So I hope that qualifies for unique and singular problem.
Any other questions? Is anyone here to speak for or against? Seeing none, you can add anything you want. Rebuttal before we close?
Just really appreciate your time. and listening to what we have to say, and appreciate your consideration with our larger than probably normal family that we have.
Yeah, and thanks again to Stephen and Lisa, because we were
Yes, for
completely in the
sure.
dark, and they led us to the right forums to figure out how to take pictures and what to present, and the 5 criteria, which I had no clue that I had to do that, and it was very helpful.
And you moved here from South Florida.
We did, yes. We're originally from Ohio, but we were in South Florida for 10 years, and I feel like Tampa's a much better fit for us.
Yeah, the
So
neighborhoods are
happy to hear
great.
Okay, we'll close.
Welcome back.
Yep. And, board ready to make a motion?
Sure. So I move that the variance request for case VRB 25-73, located at 4509 South Datura, be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a reduction in the rear setback from 3 foot to 0 feet to, and the side setback from 7 feet to 0 feet to accommodate an 8 foot by 10 foot tough shed. Based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record, public hearing of a necessary hardship for practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria as set forth in 27-80 of the city code, specifically that they're on a corner lot. There's not a lot of room behind the house, and it's an older house. Instead of just trucking the house and building again, which give them more rear room, they go ahead and leave a historic home.
A motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? I'll call a question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Likewise, against?
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
It passes
Have a
by
good
here.
day. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your help.
Screwed up.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right, let's try this again.
All right. Moving to the next item on the agenda, VRB-25-74. The owner is Larry Amilda, and the applicant is Homebound Technologies, Inc. The property address is 714 West Francis Avenue. The zoning is residential single-family RS60. The request is to reduce the front yard setback from 25 feet to 14 feet, and then to reduce the side yard setback from 7 feet to 3 feet 9 inches. The code section of reference for this variance is section 27-156, table 4-2, area of height, bulk, and placement regulations. RS60 district setbacks are 25 feet from the front, 20 feet in the rear, and 7 feet on the sides. This is the property in reference, is outlined here in red. Shows that it follows an alley and then cuts across and then comes up. This is the site plan that is being referenced, and I will zoom in on the blue and yellow rectangles to show those areas being requested. So this is the first area that's highlighted in blue. The main house structure sits at 20 feet, but because of the reduction due to the variance, they lose the ability to encroach with a front porch, bringing it to 14 feet. So it's 20 feet of house, or the house is at 20, and then they have a 6-foot encroachment for the porch, bringing the front setback to 14. This is the side yard setback. So this is the alley here, and then due to the house encroachment, the area in green goes beyond the 7-foot setback. The red highlighted area is the buildable area, and the area in green is the area of encroachment, down to 3.9. Natural Resources had no objections. At the time of construction, an arborist report will be required for the trees along the east property line. Currently, there's a 28-inch live oak and 20-inch live oak that will be impacted by construction. Zoning Natural Resources has reviewed the submitted request and found it consistent with applicable code conditions. Note during the construction phase, additional changes can be made. Transportation had no objections. Wastewater, no objections. Water, no objections. Right-of-way, no objections. Stormwater, no objections. And TECO also had no objections. This is section 2780 of the variance powers and the 5 hardship criteria for your review. I'll be available for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Good evening. My name is Ernie Jamie, representing Homebound. I live at 13450 North Great Hills Boulevard, Claremont, Florida. The lot in question.
And I've been sworn in?
And yes, I can confirm that I was sworn in earlier today,
Thank you.
this afternoon, not this evening. This is a beautiful lot in a great neighborhood. It's an unconforming lot. It's 50 feet on the front property, reducing down to 42 all the way in the back, so it's tapering. We're trying to fit a new home site here with our smallest square footage home that we offer at 35 feet wide. And even with our smallest footprint, we're still encroaching on that alley side. So we're obviously asking for that variance there. I can show you guys some of the existing, this is the existing property. Showing what the setback is there. It's currently at 12 and 20. And this kind of is in line with the rest of the properties down the street. So our lot will not be different from what's already existing in the neighborhood. We're pretty much going to be conforming with that setback that we're requesting. Would you guys like to see what the other setbacks are on that street on Francis? No? Okay.
Any photos of the site?
I have an aerial with just some dimensions showing where they're proposed, where they're currently at and where our proposed would be. Besides that, those are the only two new pieces of information that we're bringing in. That should conclude my presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Questions from the board?
So it appears that you've got this house kind of pushed, you got it pushed forward because it actually meets the width at the very front of the house.
Correct.
And from there on, it just keeps getting skinnier.
Yes.
Okay. That was, I guess,
Sorry, I was just looking at the.
Mr. Eister, I've got my normal favorite questions. There's a couple of trees on the lot, it appears. Oaks, pines, whatever may have you. I don't see anywhere where they're taking out trees or a tree report. Saving trees on lots, I know can get you some sort of leeway on setbacks. Does this qualify for any of those?
So you are correct. If they were, like say, grand trees, or the 28 inch is considered a specimen tree, so they would get some allowances and reductions, but on the side yard, it would only be a foot, which would not accommodate what the request is being. And then in the front, it would be, say, a 25% reduction. But because of the porch, that wouldn't still apply, because they would typically get an 8-foot encroachment for a porch. As soon as they get a variance to reduce front yard setbacks, that allowance then goes away by code. So that's why the ask is, instead of 20, is the 14, as depicted here.
Okay. I'm glad they're saving the trees.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can build a different house, I think. Except for townhome.
I'm sorry, you're with Homebound Technologies?
Yes, ma'am.
And so are you the contractor or the?
I'm the director of construction and the general contractor for Homebound Technologies, yes.
Okay. That is a really odd shaped lot. You could do a heck of a lot more than just plop that model in there. You know that, right?
Yes, I'm aware of that, and as you can tell in what's proposed here, if I try to conform into that building pad, I would literally have only one corner of the house that's at 90 degrees, and nothing else would be square and true.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that, but okay. Okay, any other questions?
So is there, is there something in our code that doesn't allow that footprint to sit as the lot is positioned?
So the house is angled. And as the front reduces down to the back, that's what's triggering the side encroachment.
That's the
So,
existing house. Never mind, I was looking
Yeah.
at the wrong thing.
yeah, so
Okay. That's
as
my fault.
if he met the front setback, then this corner setback would be smaller.
I see.
And then if he moves it up, he meets the corner, but then the front becomes smaller.
I see. Okay.
Do you have any drawings or elevations or what you're putting here at all?
1 second to pull it up, but yes, I can show you something. I'll go to the pretty part. That'll be your front elevation of the home.
Okay.
Let me make sure I'm on the right plan. Nope, this is a plan 2, apologies. Plan,
It's like, they were huge.
plan 1.
Okay. I was like, where'd they get all that extra space?
Yeah.
So this is the proposed front elevation of the home.
Okay. Fair enough, thanks.
Do you want to see the floor plan or anything else?
No, it's okay.
No?
Just-
Okay.
I think we're good. I've forgotten where we are in the process. Close public hearing,
Yeah, we were asking him
We were asking
questions.
questions, so yeah.
so,
I think, any more questions?
No.
any more questions?
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if we'd asked that. Is there anyone here to speak for or against?
I'm here.
Yes, thank you.
Hi. Good evening. My name's Joanne Polchak. I've been sworn. I live at 712 West Francis Avenue, which is the property that's immediately adjacent. And I'm here to say that, first of all, I do appreciate that they sent out the notice of this meeting in a timely manner. By way of background, I'm an attorney, and I really appreciate how they've conducted themselves. I appreciate that regardless of how many times the notice for this meeting blew down, Mr. Almeida put it up. And I am familiar that everyone in the neighborhood has seen it. And I'm here to say that as the property that I think would be the most effective, I have no objection to the setback. I've looked at the plans. They were kind enough to answer a couple more questions for me, and I have absolutely no objection. It is a very oddly shaped lot. My lot right next door is also oddly shaped. I have an old house from 1925, and it's a wonderful little street. And looking at what they've presented and what they've put into the record in terms of their careful diligence, in terms of how they came out and they surveyed and how they've conducted themselves, I think they would be a wonderful addition. And I just wanted to voice my support. I think I might be familiar to the attorney here, just as another member of the bar, so if anyone has any questions for me as the neighbor, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
No questions? Okay.
Thank you.
And I would just like to add, the staff's been wonderful to work with as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, close public hearing, and are we ready for a motion?
Yeah, I'm fine. I can do I'll move that variance request for case VRB 25-74 for the property located at 714 West Francis Avenue be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a request to reduce front yard setback from 25 feet to 14 feet, request to reduce side yard setback from 7 feet to 3 foot 9 inches, based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record, and at this public hearing for an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that this is a non-conforming lot, it's an odd-shaped lot, and in order to get the design that for this particular home, this is the best possible scenario.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
No further discussion, call question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed likewise? Thank you. Motion passes. 5-0.
The next item on the agenda is VRB-25-75. The owner is Zachary Snyder. The property address is 3107 West San Pedro Street. The zoning is residential multifamily, RM16. The request is to reduce the rear yard setback from 15 feet to 6 feet. Code section 27-156, table 4-2, schedule of area, height, bulk, and placement regulations of RM16 district setbacks are 25 feet front, 15 feet rear, and 7 feet on the sides. There is a previous action, BLD-25-05-15637. This is a after-the-fact sunroom conversion. So this is the property in question. This is the CSX track, and then this is the expressway. And then this property here is the triangular piece of property that is zoned RM16. This is a scope of work area showing that this is was a screened porch that was converted into a solid roof screen porch that was converted into a extension of the house. It was closed in and converted. This is a close-up showing the 6.8 feet, and then the structure itself is 18 feet 8 inches from where the main house was until the extension was done. Natural Resources had no objections. This was an existing screen room with a solid roof. The structure was originally built in 2001 and then later enclosed. So any tree impacts would have been observed by this time. Transportation, wastewater, water, right-of-way, stormwater, and TICO all had no objections. This is the criteria for the Variance Review Board under 27-80, application of variance power. And then I'll be available for any comments, questions, or concerns. And then the applicant is here.
So Steve, were these done without a permit? Is that what we're
So
getting?
it is interesting because there's this duplex unit and then another duplex unit next door.
Mhm.
All 4 have solid roof screen enclosures. Under the RM16, any enclosure off the rear of the property should meet principal structure setbacks. So that means solid roof, screen room, any lanai, all those should meet the 15-foot setback. These 4 units have enclosures in the back, and permits could not be found. Because that was the first step of the research before they moved forward with the variance application, was to verify the after-the-fact screen enclosures. Who knows?
This particular one, there was no permit for.
Right, this particular unit, there is no permits for the solid roof screen enclosure that was then converted over.
All right, thank you.
So, my name is Zachary Sidnor, 3107 West San Pedro Street. Yes, I have been sworn in. I am the homeowner, my wife and I. We purchased this property back in 2019, I apologize. And the screened-in porch was already attached to the property when we bought it. We did not add the porch, it was just there. I'll show you as we go. So here's a picture of the screened-in porch as we bought the property. It said a hard roof screen, did not meet the setbacks that we were unaware at the time when we purchased the property. Here's the existing site plan for when we bought the property. showing the screened-in porch. Here's it zoomed in again. So like I said, when we bought the property, the screened-in porch was there, unaware it did not meet the zoning setbacks. My father and I closed it in to make an additional room for our family with our 2 kids that we recently had because we can't afford to move. And shame on me, I didn't permit it first. I misread some code somewhere that I didn't think I needed to. Reread it, realized I made a mistake, went to the city building department to file an after-fact permit to correct this, and that's when the city discovered the screened-in porch had never been permitted. That house was built in 2000, this was added in 2001. As you can see here, the Hillsborough County Appraiser website shows it was added in 2001. So we had no idea that it was added without a permit. So like he stated with the city building code, or the city code, since it had a hard roof on it, talking with the city building officials, when I first thought about doing the enclosure, I was like, well, if it meets the zoning, if the hard roof must meet the zoning setbacks of the original house, me enclosing it does not affect zoning. Now, the building department, I did make a mistake. I'm working with the building department to rectify that, get the permits, get all the signed documentation, drawings, whatever from a licensed architect to rectify this. So, but the last thing holding up the issue of the permit is the zone variance. So, any questions?
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any questions from the board?
So does it look like the hard-lidded screen porch was built originally with the house?
No. The house was built in 2000, and then when you look at the website, the owner added it in 2001.
Okay.
And
That
I
was
talked to other.
well before you bought the house?
Yes, sir. We can go, if I go back.
This all became,
Like that was from the original survey of the property when we purchased the property. So when I first went to an architect to get the drawings for the after-the-fact permit to rectify my father and I closing it in, they brought up the point of this doesn't meet setbacks. They're probably going to have issues with this, and here I am asking. I didn't know. I'm asking for forgiveness for closing it in, but I didn't build the porch, so I didn't know it didn't meet the setbacks of the rear property. I know
So
two rights don't make it wrong, but.
did this whole ordeal came of, what caused this action for you to find this out?
The setback issue, or to go get the after the
Just
fact
how
permit?
that you,
Talking with my wife and family, just, I went looking through what was required for City of Tampa for permits. I obviously misread and misinterpret things. So I went down to the city's office telling them, hey, I did this. I need to figure out what do I do to make this right. And that was back in March. And so here we are to this day. But it was literally just my family and I trying to figure out, well, if we sell this property in 5 years, does this become an issue of we did unpermitted work in the back? And I wanted to just say, come clean, do the right thing. And that's when it came up that the screen-in porch was never permitted. And so we've been dealing with that issue as well as the unpermitted work that I did. Which the work I did, literally, we just closed it in, did no plumbing, no electrical, no new concrete, no new roof, just put some plywood, some sheathing, some drywall, insulation, and enclosed a room for a playroom for my kids. I know it doesn't make it right, and I'm still working to get the permit. But this is the last step of the permit, is the zoning, hopeful approval for the variance to reduce the setbacks.
Can you put the site plan back up for
Yes,
the
ma'am.
piece of property?
The nice triangle property with the railroad tracks?
I was just trying to figure out how you access it, because San Pedro's on the bottom.
It is, and so so here's the front of my house, and I'll go back to the site property. So let me move the mouse. So here's San Pedro, here's the driveway, here's a walkway to my house, which all that was reworked and permitted before we bought the house. And then there is a door from the house to the screened-in porch, and then there is a door from a screened-in porch, or the new room, out to our side yard. We call it the backyard, but it's actually a side yard.
Okay.
So when you look at this picture of the existing, the new door is in the same place as the screen door. And then we just we took down the screens and infilled the post with insulation, plywood, etc., windows. And Excuse, that's my dog who loves our backyard. But, so, like I
Okay.
said, I just looking for, so didn't know the screen, didn't know it didn't meet zoning variance. I didn't, adding concrete didn't encroach onto the setbacks of the property, so I had no idea that there was a zoning issue associated with it. I knew there was a building department issue, but zoning, had no idea to expect that.
Okay. All right, questions?
Sure. It is an irregular shaped lot being up against the railroad. And I'm looking at the building, your setback was supposed to be 20 feet, but it's really only 18.8.
I think, is it 20 or 15? Because I think I mislabeled somewhere that says 20, but I think the actual code is 15.
Oh, is
and
it 15? I'll see
Yes, sir.
one
I
on
think
my paper
I
here.
may have messed up on my applications where the code's 15, not 20.
Code is 15, okay, so I'm sitting here trying to figure out how they ever got this thing even put in the ground in the first place.
Understood.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's a
Trust me.
strange setup.
We would like to have moved by now, but as things have changed in recent years, we've kind of just decided we're going to stick this one out for a little longer. We have one with our little kids, and that's when we decided to do this little addition to add some space for our we got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Because it is so irregularly shaped, if you move, even if we said tear it down, you tried to put it over on the other side, yeah, it's just not.
And see, I was trying to utilize the existing structure,
it's-
doors, and not.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'm just saying it is an irregularly shaped lot.
And
there
that
is no
backyard's
other way
not,
to.
and it's not level, there's like a swell in the middle of it to where the rain leaders all dump into. And so every hurricane or tropical storm, it fills with water, but it's where all the water runs to, that kind of acts as a mini retaining pond.
Okay,
Add,
all right,
you know, add some frogs and stuff for,
understood.
So,
I'm sorry,
members,
ma'am.
sorry, I'm just looking at the site plan again. It does say on the site plan that's in your application package that it's a screened-in porch, so I just want, if the board is,
it had a hard roof, so I don't know why it says screened in porch. It had hard roof when I bought the property.
no, it's fine, but now it's
Understood.
enclosed, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I just want to make sure that whatever motion the board makes, if you are so inclined to approve this variance, that it addresses the fact that it's
It's already,
enclosed rather
Yeah.
than, right? Because,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
And that's what I think
thank you.
the building permit attached to it is my pending permit for the enclosure that I did
this is the,
once the variance,
Access to
hopefully, the variance is approved.
okay. Is there anyone here to speak for or against? Okay, seeing none, and do you have anything else you'd like to add? You do have rebuttal time.
No, ma'am?
All right, then we'll close the public hearing and hear from the board. Very odd shaped lot. I think that's quite a hardship in and of itself.
Right.
Next to a railroad track, next to a.
Well, but it's also all these, I mean, in my profession, what I come up against all the time are things that exist that have not been permitted, and we find it when these folks buy these houses, and, the screened-in porch was there, when he bought the house, and, I mean, yeah, he knows he's obviously correcting what he did
Right.
Yeah.
with the enclosure,
Yeah,
but he
kudos to
didn't
him.
know that, where it sat wasn't handled, so now he's got another thing to deal with. But he's doing the right thing.
Would you like to make that in form of a motion?
Oh, sure. I move the variance request for case BRB 25-75 for the property located at 3107 West San Pedro Street be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a request to reduce the rear yard setback from 15 feet to 6 feet for, is this where you want me to talk about the enclosure? For a screened porch that has now become a fully enclosed, no?
It's not a screen porch, it's a solid.
It's a solid
addition to
enclosed
the- right.
addition to the property.
Because, I mean, the building department's gonna look at that when
Yes.
they're looking at the permit.
A
so
solid
it's just-
enclosed building to
Addition
the,
to
addition
the-
to the
right,
property.
that's-
How's that? Yeah?
Yes,
Okay. Based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record, and at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that it is a very odd lot, that the footprint was already inhabited by a structure, and the applicant is doing what is necessary to get everything up to code and proper.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise? Your motion passes. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Again, like I said, y'all, building department, everyone has been very easy to deal with this, and I know I made a mistake, and everyone's, instead of coming down hard on me, been more willing to work with me to correct and bring everything up to code.
Good to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Thank you
very
making it
patient
right,
tonight
and
as
being
well.
Yes,
forthright.
and making it all the way to 8:30.
Okay,
Have a good evening.
on to the last item of the agenda, VRB-25-78. The owner is, how's that?
Say it, Stephen.
Yes, thank you. And then Natalie Martello. The property address is 1021 West Carroll Street. I have butchered enough names tonight, so I will skip this one. The zoning is residential, single family, RS 50. The request is to reduce the rear yard pool setback from 5 feet to 3 feet. The code section of reference is 27-290.3. Schedule of area, height, bulk, and placement regulations of swimming pools are not permitted in front yards. Setbacks are as follows: 5 feet from the front, 5 foot setback to the side and rear yard, and observe all corner setbacks. This is the property in question. This is the proposed house. The house was shifted back because of a 47-inch grand tree in the front. So the front setback on this house is actually at 31 foot, almost 32 feet from the garage entrance. And then the main entrance is approximately 40 feet back from the road due to the live oak in the front. And then there is a pool in the rear here, requesting to go from 5 feet to 3 feet. Natural Resources has no objections. Due to the preservation of the live oak, any additional requests may be made just to show staging and things like that at the time of permitting as they get back and forth from that area due to the tree. Transportation had no objections. Wastewater, water, right-of-way, stormwater, and TECO all had no objections. This is the criteria under 27-80 for the Variance Review Board criteria, and it's 1 through 5. And setback reductions only apply to the primary structure setbacks. There are no reductions for accessory structures such as pools and things like that granted by preserving a grand tree. And that's why they are here tonight.
Thank you for waiting.
Thank you.
No problem. We weren't gonna give up now. Okay, I think this is probably the picture that says the most, but I have some others as well. Basically, when this is a newly built home, we moved in about a year ago with the intention of putting a pool in the backyard, as we would like to build a family here in Tampa. And in order to do that, we would love to have a place for our family to grow with a pool and a home that we can really grow in. As Stephen mentioned, there is a grand oak tree right here in the front yard, causing our setback to be quite a bit further than the standard. And so therefore our backyard is quite a bit smaller than what, would be comfortable to put a pool in. So we are asking to just reduce that setback from 5 feet to 3 feet in order to allow 2 additional feet of pool space. Essentially, there will still be green space or whatever we decide to put on the back side of the pool. So it will not back all the way up to the fence. Behind that fence is an alley, although we did not include the alley in the photo, but nobody behind us is affected or anything like that. Anything else? No, I think that's it. I have other photos though, if you'd like to see anything else. That's a photo of the backyard now. So the pool would it would line up with the current porch, lanai, and it would just go right there.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Does that conclude your presentation?
It does, thank you.
Okay, any questions from the board? Is there anyone here to speak for or
I guess
against?
I'll throw one
sorry,
question
go
out.
ahead.
Might as well. Gotta make you guys work a little bit.
Aaron for the question.
Yeah, so we've got a pool, 3 feet, 2 feet. It looks like it's set back from the eye, about also 5 feet.
Yeah.
There's no reason you guys couldn't have shifted that thing just 2 feet closer to the lanai?
I want
I
to say
think he said they wouldn't allow that.
yeah, there's like a variance requirement for
Yeah.
how close you can be to that structure of the home. So we are trying to meet that.
Yeah, the company that designed the pool said that we could not do that, and it's gonna be very safe also, not to have a lot of space from the lanai, I believe.
And we'd like to be able to put a fence there as well, just for safety reasons.
Are you guys planning on screening?
Yes.
Pull in?
Yeah.
So this will be for the screen. You know, the screen is where the measurement
Okay,
goes.
so the edge of the pool is actually a little bit further then?
Yeah, yeah.
So the edge of the screen will be 3 feet?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
I also just realized I didn't state my name. Do I need to do that?
You should.
Yeah, you definitely.
Natalie Martella, Eugenia
Eugenia
Subgenio.
Subgenio.
We live at 1021 West Coral Street, Tampa, Florida, 33602, and we were both sworn in.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions? There's no one here to speak for or against. I'll close the public hearing and hear from the board.
They saved a grand tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
The house is
And
pushed
it
back.
Thank
shifted
you.
it back, which caused, which makes it such a tiny little
yeah.
Yeah.
yard.
We salute you because most people would not, so thank you.
So just a quick question before the board makes this motion. I just want to clarify the screen enclosure, because this is a request for a reduction in the setback for the pool.
Yes.
Mhm.
So the screen enclosure will meet the setback requirements?
Does it
Steven?
say on that, on you have the one with the pool in it, right? That's what was in your slideshow?
I just don't want it to be an issue. if
Understood.
they
Can we
have
pull
the
that back up
screen
by chance?
enclosure
I was gonna-
within-
I'm sorry.
Getting ready to touch
I just want to make sure. Do you have the pool?
It's,
You beat me to it.
I haven't.
Or it's right here. Let's just double check.
We
that
have
that's what
people
it
that come
says.
back after
I
they
do
put
believe
their
it's the
pool in
screen.
Yeah.
and ask
So
for
the screen
variance
will be
because of
flush on the
screen.
pool, therefore the setback will be,
Yeah, the screen is flush with the pool.
flush with the pool. So where the pool stops, that will be screen, so nobody will be able to walk on the other side of the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
You
3
can walk
feet is the screen.
behind the screen,
Mhm.
but the screen goes up against the pool so that there is a strip of space between the screen and the fence.
It's the 3 feet.
Yep,
Correct. Well, the 3 feet's from the property line. Is the fence
Yeah.
right on
The property line to the screen.
yeah.
Correct.
Mr. Eistel,
But-
will that 3 feet be sufficient for a setback for a screen enclosure?
So I know when we initially spoke, we just spoke to the pool. The notice only was for the pool setback,
Not the screen.
not for the screen
Correct, that's-
setback.
What
So
I
we'll have
thought
to
I heard
continue
too.
this.
So
They won't meet the setback.
the setback for a screen enclosure would be 5 feet. And then this would allow for if this was approved, the pool can be constructed. But because the notice did not contain the reduction for the screen enclosure, it would not be.
So-
Even
so-
if the screen is flush with the edge of the pool?
No.
Well, because the screen enclosure and the pool are two separate things.
Yes, so the pool enclosure the pool is 27,290.3, and then the screen enclosure is 27,290.5.
Well, and, yeah, because it's so specific and your notice, so I guess the options would be to either allow them to continue and renotice for a reduction in the setback for a pool and a screen enclosure, and then come back, maybe, I think it would probably be December, Stephen, or?
We can
Oh,
ask you
well,
that question. You
so
could-
if-
Could they do a second variance request for the screen
Correct.
enclosure
You
later?
Gosh, but they-
Allows them-
If this passes, you could start construction on your pool at the same time, start another variance request for the screen.
Okay.
Or you guys.
Or wait.
I would prefer that.
So you want to go with what's here?
I believe so. And then we could, like
For
you
the
said,
pool.
add for the screen, and
Mhm.
then that
So
would
it's
just,
different.
You just come back.
Just to clarify, it's a different,
it needs to be
separate
minimum
variance.
screen
Speaking
instead of
Two
pool.
separate permits.
Minimum, well, okay,
But we're only addressing the pool because that's what the request is, right?
That's what was
That was
noticed.
noticed.
That's what's noticed.
well, correct, so okay, you'll have to find a hardship again, I'm just saying that now they're gonna have to prove a hardship again.
oh, and we're gonna have to like pay the fees and everything again?
No, I think you could amend your request, but yes, you would have to pay the fee for another hardship, for another variance application. So that's why I'm suggesting that you consider, you might wanna consider continuing.
If the current case is amended and it continued, the request can be added as part of this request. If the board makes a decision tonight on the pool enclosure, or the pool, you would have to make a new request with a new variance number to do this.
Do we know what the date is in December?
And next month's, you have enough time to notice because next month's board meeting is delayed by a week.
That's true.
That is
Is there
correct.
space on the agenda?
For the 18th, it would be, I think we do have one available spot, but it would be a night, like tonight, you guys would go first. And the hearing would be on the 18th, because it's, so you would have to do noticing
Within the next 4 days.
within the next 4 days.
Oh, like mail all the letters
Correct.
out and stuff,
Correct.
In order to be heard in November.
and like get a new sign, like all of these
You
things.
can put the sign back up.
Same
That's fine.
sign.
Well, you have to add the
Yeah,
request
you have to add
for
the
the
request on the
screening.
notice.
Okay, but I don't have to like go pick up a new sign. I'm leaving town on
No, I-
early
I
Friday, so
understand.
I'm
I'm
just
just
thinking time-wise.
Yeah, because I believe your sign only has the variance review number and then the notice date, so you would have to update the notice date.
Okay.
And all
So
the letters.
November,
And
yeah,
the
and send out the letters. We can print those tomorrow. Okay, let's just
And-
amend this one.
And you can work with Stephen to amend your request
Okay.
and, right,
Okay, yeah.
So this would be a continuance.
yes,
Okay.
but,
Alright.
so I
I
asked the
have a
board to.
different, I have a different motion.
Yes, right, exactly.
Is that what you guys would like to do?
No, but
No.
I think it's an
At least you're
But
honest.
under the current circumstance.
At least you're honest.
option. Yeah. That I always am, yeah.
All right, well then I move that case VRB 25-70 be continued until the November 18th meeting at 5:30 PM at the Old City Hall, 315 East Kennedy Boulevard,
Second.
2025.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise. See you next month.
Sorry, thank you.
Stand adjourned.
Y'all had to get off the call, so we didn't,
Yes, I know.
So everything here hatched in the gray that's angled, that is marked as cover and cover, those are existing. And that's what they are trying to request as part of this variance.
This cover was with the house when originally purchased, so it's only the